Well, hello. Welcome to the third episode of my new show, Pop Culture on 24 Eyes. And today I'm pretty excited about my guest. I first noticed him in different comic book chats when I was going around and noticed that he made some funny comments or whatever. And eventually I got the inclination to look up and see if he had anything going on his channel. And when I did, I found myself partaking in a very interesting episode where they were going over some really hilarious porn trailers. He goes by Dean James. It's at Dean James on Twitter and Comics Made on YouTube. Here he is. How are you, sir?
G'day. How are you? I'm good.
So we were talking like right before we started that Blu-rays are the thing. Like for like there's always you have a handful of videos that you're gonna keep or specific movies that are your favorite on that physical copy.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in this day and age, like with like the state of Hollywood, you don't trust anyone, so you want to like when it comes to movie collections, I moved mostly to digital, but I kept my favorite ones as physical because you never know what's going to, especially with like Star Wars and stuff, you never know what it's going to look like in the future. So
Oh yeah, like some kind of radical editing if they're gonna go back and like I mean I wonder like how much they can even do that. I mean like certain movies you can't course correct. Like there's just I have some favorites, but like you can't go back and like undo most of like Clint Eastwood's cowboy career.
You say that, but you never know.
Like well I'm just saying like you just be erasing 3/4 of a great movie. You know what I mean? There just would be no meat left on the bone once you start carving off all the unpleasant parts.
Yeah, well, there was most of the ones that I kept. I kept them because they were just my pure favorites. Not even talking about the movie itself. The literal actual Blu-ray on my shelf, I had watched that a million times. It was always that same disc and that same cover and stuff. So it's like I wasn't going to throw that away. I have a bunch of collector's editions and things. It's like I know they're not worth anything, but like I liked them when I was a kid / teenager / young adult. And
they're worth something to you.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
how that feeling is, man. It's tough. I got divorced and then I just broke up with a girlfriend from like I was with for like pretty much the same amount of time I was with my ex-wife, and so like again I had to shed all my stuff and like man, I'm telling you, I just started rebuilding like my like comic collection a little bit of my music collection, but dude, it's rough out here on the streets. Like there are some things that like man I was telling you before that like my ex-girlfriend stole my Blu-ray collection, but like one of the things I was really sad about is she stole my Dungeons and Dragons set of DVDs, dude.
Well, there's some things you can't get back either. Like I didn't even mention this behind the scenes earlier, but there are certain things that they just don't sell anymore. Like, the collector's edition stuff isn't necessarily a collector's edition because it's worth something. It's collector's edition because it's limited. And then they just stopped making it after the first 6 months of them coming out or whatever. So you can't actually buy it anymore, even if it's not, worth anything. They just don't exist. Like I've had the worst thing that ever happened to me when it comes to collectibles was I had the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games.
Yes.
I had the Riddler trophy, like an actual Riddler trophy, and there was only like 120 of them in the world.
Okay.
And we were moving houses, right? And so I packed it up into a bag and put it right next to my bed. That morning when I woke up, I just stood on it and just broke it and shattered it into pieces. So now there's 119 in the world.
Oh no! So you just helped 119 people out that day.
Yeah.
Oh good. Oh.
But there's some things you can't replace. Yeah.
Oh man, when you break your stuff, that's the worst. Like
I can't find it anywhere anymore. Like they're all owned by some collector somewhere, or you just can't get it at all. Like I never even saw one ever again.
Oh, so it's not even like on eBay where you can like window shop and dream about it. It's like completely just not for sale.
Yeah, I just can't find them anywhere. The closest I got to finding one was how they had the Catwoman one and it was like a pink one. Yeah. That was the closest I found to the one that I had, and it's just it's not the same. That's not the one I wanted. Yeah.
Oh, so what would you pay for like a knockoff, like a really good knockoff, like if someone like casted one of them and like
Oh, a couple hundred at least. Like if it looked just like, because it lit up and everything, yeah. Like it was so good. If they could recreate it, I would pay them a few hundred.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I
the
do like
original thing
that.
cost me a couple hundred, you know.
I do like that in our like in this year, like in 2021, one of the cool things is that like they are remaking toys and then oftentimes making like better versions of really cool toys.
Oh yeah, I have some Transformers that are just like a new version of the one that I had when I was a little kid, and I
Yeah.
literally got them for nostalgia purposes. But fucking hell, they're nice. Like,
They function, but like that's one of the things too. Though is like, oh, we're not going to just reproduce them. We're going to make them out of materials that aren't going to break and like
yeah,
just turn to. Dude, you know how upset I would be? Like, I no longer have any of this stuff, but like if I did have it, and I went out to like my old toy box and opened it up, and I pulled out a Transformer, and he just turned to fucking dust, dude. I'd be so just. I mean, what do you do in that situation? That's
now
just heartbreaking.
I bought the there's like a collector's edition of the 90s animated Batman, like
Mm.
Batmobile, and it comes with a Batman and a Robin and they sit inside it and everything. Like it's not a toy, you know?
Yeah.
But I bought that to replace the toy that I had when I was a little kid because I pulled it out of storage wanting to put it on the shelf for the background of the show, if I have the camera set up and everything. And it was busted. Like it had one of the wheels fallen off and everything. Just from being in storage, it was just completely destroyed. So then I went and bought this collector's edition version of it, And like
Yeah.
that's an upgrade, but it's still not the same. Like it's not my childhood toy.
So, yeah. Oh man. Dude, that's one of the things like what I'm hoping is that like since they're burning down all our properties, right? Like they're just like taking everything that was ever great and just like doing something to it to fuck it up.
Yeah. Even if
Um,
it's something I'm not a fan of, man. Like I never
oh
cared for
no.
Doctor Who, but I feel so bad for the Doctor Who fans.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, anything like any fandom, like that's just
Yeah.
it's ridiculous that it just gets hijacked by people who are not even buying the. You know what I mean? Like all the people who propped it up, all of a sudden they're the bad guys
Yeah.
in the
Warhammer
situation.
gaming. Like because Kemosabe, my co-host on Comics Mate, he's really into Warhammer and stuff. Like behind the scenes, he loves his little tabletop games and he paints all these little figurines and stuff. And they're all the next target now. Apparently that's all fascism and bigotry and all that stuff.
Millennium Falcon toy. We probably could get that.
Yeah.
You probably
Oh
get
man,
that
I
off of
had one of
eBay.
those.
You know what's crazy though is Mark Hamill has one, right? And he has one of
Yeah.
everything, or like two. He had something at the contract where he's got like two of every fucking toy that like ever came out
That's
for Star
insane.
Wars.
That is insane.
Like he has to have the most complete like completionist set of Star Wars memorabilia.
I
At
had no
least toys.
idea. That's crazy.
Because it was like because they all had like different deals. I mean, like the people made out like bandits on that fucking movie because it was no one knew it was gonna blow up into
Yeah,
the
everyone
like
thought it would fail.
yeah. What did they know? They gave all those people a point, man. The amount of money that they all like made and continue to make off of that money royalty wise, like
Yeah,
stupid.
their kids and their grandkids and everyone is set. Like everyone in their family is set because of that one decision that they made back in the 70s. Like
Yeah. Well, there's a handful of things that I'm like looking forward to, right? So either they'll burn everything down, which is cool to go ahead and do it, because
yep.
I'm not gonna pay attention to it anymore. I'm just not gonna get upset. I just turn it off. Like if
I
I
laugh
get a
most of
hint
it.
that it's gonna be something stupid, like they like ruined it in the slightest, like then I just won't watch it, and then I won't be
Yeah,
upset. I'll just go watch the version that I like.
exactly. Like I think that's the path that most of us are on these days. It's just like whatever, I still have the old one and you guys can go suck over that side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, go ahead and ruin it. So eventually, what I'm thinking is that they'll ruin a lot of these properties to the point that they won't have any value, and then they should be reasonably like cheap to pick up, right? And then that's like where you
Yeah.
see like, fuck like a regular, just like, I mean, we have all the big people in Comicsgate, right? And they're pulling in these big $100,000 books or 200,000 in some cases, but like, what I would really like to see is like a more of a collective thing, like pushing forward, and
Yeah.
bringing in that kind of cash.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of campaigns out there that don't, like, for whatever reason, they don't get the love that most people think they deserve. Like I would love to. There's countless books that I would have loved to have seen this guy, like just this random nobody, someone who has no fans or anything like that. He's not an expert or anything. But some random nobody make a killing. Like Bancroft, he did great. He was really successful. Everyone loves the Lucent. Like I want to see more like that.
Oh yeah, I do. I want to see that. Mandy Summers looks like she's doing pretty good with her book. That's like
Oh, that
30
new one, that
something.
Vampire Hunter one looks
Yeah.
fantastic. That looks like Peter Gilmore's best work, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm gonna back that. I haven't backed it yet, but that's one of the ones that's on my list. And
Yeah,
there's just a
Death,
lot of
Death,
books,
Death.
dude. That
Have
one
you
looks
seen?
sick.
Yeah,
Looks so. Oh man, I love the trailer for that. Like,
yeah, that one's on my list for sure.
and then, oh man, did you see the thing that where Malin like almost like screwed the pooch on his campaign?
Oh right, yeah, I saw that. It closed on him.
Dude, like I actually had it opened up like on like a tab and it was like closed. And then when they said it was back on, I was like, no way, no way. And then I
My
opened it
God.
up and boom, sure enough, I was like, they turned it back on. It's a miracle. But I mean, like it's good for them though. It's good for Kickstarter or for Indiegogo to have that campaign go to 200,000 or whatever
Yeah,
it'll
it's
make
more
it
money for
to.
them. Yeah,
It's more money for them. It's more publicity. It's more highlight, on their
yeah,
on what they're doing.
yeah. And that just shows that they have like good customer service. Like all he had to do was email them and say, "Hey, like I missed the deadline. I was asleep, but I was supposed to click the button. Can you click the button for me?" And they sorted it out. No real issue.
Oh, but what I was saying about the group effort, what I meant to, I wandered off on that point. The group effort is grading those properties, right? Like, so maybe somewhere in the future, like in 20 years from now, they will shit over like He-Man and everything else to the point G.I. Joe that they have like smoldered the property, and we'll be
Oh
able to
yeah.
like as a group do a crowdfund. You know what I mean? Have a series of writers like start a whole new, whole new run.
I've been thinking that sort of thing anyway with like not necessarily them like just like I've been thinking the way it's all going, right? Like they're
Mhm.
going to destroy like we burned down Star Wars, we burned down He-Man, we don't care. Like they've ruined so much of it that it's gotten to the point where most of us just laugh at it these days. So
Yeah, it's like what's next on the chopping block?
yeah, exactly. So the more people that wake up to that, right, the more popular all these alternatives will become. Like 10, 20 years from now, like my book, The Embrace, there could be a movie or a TV show, a cartoon or something, just because Spider-Man has sucked for the last 20 years. Like you got an entire
Yeah.
generation who have only grown up with these superheroes sucking. Like they never knew the good version of the characters that we all know and love. And the only good characters that they're going to grow up with are these new indie alternatives.
Dude, and you know what's terrible? Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yes, the new Indiana alternative is gonna be awesome, but what's terrible is what they're doing to the mainstream stuff. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like I don't understand like why they think that they can't create something new. Like why do
I,
you have to turn something old into like just like the old stuff was sell and like for the most part, like they really screwed up Star Wars. Like Star Wars was the
yeah.
easiest slam dunk. Like you could have created material. Like they had an entire canon. They had hundreds of books that went in 200 different directions. They had all different
Yeah.
generations of
Countless
different.
characters that had
Yeah,
never
dude.
actually been in a movie that we all wanted to meet them.
Oh, they could have made TV series and movies. Like it would just adapting the books, and they would have had to never come up with anything
Yeah.
original for the next like 50 years, and they would have sold all of it, all of the merch, all the toys,
Easiest
everything.
$1 billion they ever made, but no.
Mm-mm.
Nowadays you could get what, like Brie Larson playing Mara Jade or some shit like.
I'm fucking so tired of people like Brie Larson.
Yeah.
And I'm getting really tired of this thing where all of a sudden every minority that's playing in a Marvel movie is like the new first person to ever do something. Like, you're not the first Asian dude to do something, dude. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you
That
can't even,
actor is insane.
like, I can't
He's
believe
nuts.
that you can say some words like that when, like, you're talking to people who, like, grew up on Jackie Chan, Jet Li, like, just in recent year, like,
Yeah.
there's, like, Owen Bach, like, I mean, Jesus Christ, like I
Well,
could name
I'm hearing
Korean
bad
actors, you
things
know what
about
I mean? Like
Shang-Chi.
it's like not only can people name like Asian actors, but they can name like several different nationalities of Asian actors.
Specific nationalities of Asian
Yeah.
character. Yeah, definitely. Like, and then like you don't even have to go that far back into the past. Like I'll watch I'm pretty sure it's Korean, but I'll watch Old Boy over
Yeah.
the American Old Boy any day. Because
Mhm.
it's just it doesn't even compare. And for him to just dismiss all like what kind of an ego must you have for you to not even notice people like Bruce Lee? Like,
Oh,
who
yeah.
the fuck does he think he
Sonny
is?
Chiba. Like, oh yeah, just go ahead and skip over all these motherfuckers. No, it's
His
insane.
father in the movie in Shang-Chi, his father is being played by like some classic actor, some like I can't remember his name, but I've seen him in stuff before as well, you know. But like you're working alongside someone who has history of being a movie star. Like, what are you talking about?
There's the dude from Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah,
Sun Tzu, like that
yeah,
guy, and he's been in a bunch of movies as a bad guy. Like, out of
yeah.
here, dude.
Jet Li, the one. Come on, that was one of my
Oh,
favorite movies growing up. That was in like the 90s.
dude. Yeah, Jet Li. Oh man, when Jet Li came out, there was all the arguments who would win the fight, Jet Li or Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Who was better? It's like, I don't know, man. Bruce Lee made that shit. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I was always on Jet Li's side, but I feel like Bruce Lee would have won the fight. But I would have been
Maybe.
cheering for Jet Li the entire time.
Bruce was like very interesting. If you believe what like people reported about him, he would be doing some crazy stuff, like doing some splits while like lifting a dumbbell, reading a book while like the TV's on and shit. You know what I mean? Like all at the same time.
Mad lad.
Yeah. Just. I mean, hey, it's an efficient use of your time, I guess. I mean, like when you're like creating the world's most badass martial art and pretty much becoming the father of MMA, like
That's true.
Oh, dude, and there's like Jackie Chan. Like, how are you gonna like? There's so many badass Jackie Chan movies, whether they're the ones that are American ones or his Chinese ones that came first. Like,
Yeah,
like he's like
Jackie Chan would be one of the most popular actors, like martial arts action star actors in the entire world, just full stop, let alone Asian ones, you know? Like everybody knows who Jackie Chan is. Like, what's he talking about?
Oh my goodness, dude! It's just like today I heard that like the weather's racist and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I was
everything's
like,
racist. Haven't
how
you
is the
heard about that?
environment racist? I was like, I don't understand. The
And having
environment's doing this
wanting
thing.
to
I was
have
like,
kids, that's
you mean
racist.
you mean the world like hates you? Like you mean like the actual earth, like the ground resents you? Okay, I
Yeah,
don't know.
everything. Like, there's literally you can Google anything racist and you'll be able to find it. Like someone says like everything, like food is racist, trees are racist, camping is racist, fishing's racist. There's just yeah,
Fishing's
that's a
racist.
legit example. Yeah, fishing is racist because why aren't there more black people fishing? And I was like, maybe they just don't want to fish. Like, how do I fucking know?
Well,
Like, maybe there are.
maybe the black people. Well, see, this thing is, I do go fishing, and there's plenty of black people that go fishing. Maybe the black people who are asking the question, where are all the people, black people fishing, aren't going fishing.
I don't
Like
fucking
maybe
know.
you should
Like,
go fishing and find out where they're at.
but yeah, there's articles for literally everything these days, and like
Hmm.
I've gone through countless of them. Go check out Libs of TikTok on
Libs of TikTok. Oh,
yeah, on Twitter.
that's one of the
They're
things that you and
hilarious.
your co-host Kiwasabi get down on, right? Like on your
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
You guys.
they're hilarious. He does half the work for us, because he's scrolling through TikTok for real. Like, all right, don't want to go on there. But,
TikTok is I feel like it's it's like the recording of the downfall of human civilization. It's just like another prong of like Chinese government fucking with the world, dude.
oh, definitely. But the people on TikTok are just the same freak weirdos from like, what's it called, Tumblr and stuff like that. They've all just moved there, and it seems more prominent because now rather than comments and random images, they've got videos to express themselves.
Well, that and it doesn't. My understanding is that it's relatively easy to get a following on there, and if you get a decent
Yep.
small following, you're gonna get like stupid little sponsorships and stuff. So
Yeah,
I mean,
it's kind of blown up with that, but a lot of people think that most of it is just like China, as you said, China doing their thing, and it's not actual real people, mostly just bots and stuff.
yeah,
But
just feeding propaganda, dude. Like the perfect way. I mean, kids flowing through there. Like if I was like a 13-year-old kid, I'd be going through all those like ass shaking videos every day. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, if I was 13, fucking oath I would be. Like, why wouldn't I?
And in between, they're probably getting all kinds of stupid propaganda.
Yeah, probably. And like the way TikTok works as well on your phone, like I don't think it does it on the website, but if you've got it on your phone, it just plays a video automatically as soon as you open it.
Oh,
so it just starts, and you just have to scroll through
it. You in. That's fucking evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have a chance to subconsciously respond or anything. Wow.
Nope. Something just starts playing in front of you, and then that's it. And you.
So how quick do you get stuck in that rabbit hole? Like nine times out of 10,
like a second into it, I swear to God.
And you're just like down whatever videos is playing, whatever soup de jour it is that day. That's like what you're into. That's like
you can type like because we did a thing the other day, but we didn't actually. We only just barely started doing it. But you search up something as just like feminism, and you'll get nothing but like kill all men, and you're like, what the fuck? Like it's the feminism. Like,
wow.
like it escalates so quickly.
Why is that even allowed? Like you can't say like one cross word or like you can't like I don't know, just be like Robin's straight and this is bullshit that you just automatically turn them gay for no reason. Like you can't do anything like that on but these people can just be like die whitey straight man die.
Yeah. No, the funniest thing that I saw recently was Blair White, the right leaning trans chick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got banned from TikTok because she does not agree with all the pronoun shit. Like she's like, I'm a trans person, and I'm telling you that if you don't want to have sex with me, that's fine. Like I get it, like I'm not an actor. And then like they went off and they reported her, and now she's banned from TikTok. And I'm like, what for? Like she's an actual trans person talking about trans stuff. Like
yeah, like for stating her opinion, for just I don't know, just being in charge of her body and having body autonomy. And
these people are insane. Like,
well,
believe it or not, man, I would have considered myself left leaning back in the day. Like I don't know what happened to the world.
I was a punk rocker, dude, and you know what? I had cool blue mohawk in high school, but I had a mohawk. First of all, I didn't have this like limpy dick leaning hair, fucking whatever weird thing, whatever poof things that these kids are doing. I don't know. And like dipping their heads in pink and shit. I don't whatever the fuck. Like no, I had a fucking badass mohawk back in the day.
Yeah.
And that was like, it wasn't all this emo shit. Like I don't, dude, like.
I just had a big mop on my head. Like I just had like massive noodles coming out the top of my head.
Well, I was born in like '84, so I'm like 38. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm only 31.
I was in that like, man, I was in that perfect. I was going to high school like right in '98, '90. Oh man, dude, I was golden. I was golden.
That is the perfect time. That's the time I grew up, and they talk about. Like everything was okay back then. Like you could make fun of everything. Jokes were funny.
Dude, like, everything was funny. Everything was funny.
What happened?
You could joke about anything. Everybody got like, dude, people were getting along and shit. Like it wasn't this kind of.
I get told off for jokes all the time. Like it's just not cool.
There was a handful of situations that happened that were like fucked up or whatever that had some like racial backlash in America, but it was very like. Small, like it wasn't like something that like this, like where the whole world is just like having this weird like whiplash reaction to stuff. Like it happened, people had an appropriate response to it, and then like everybody like moved on, and we were back to like doing things. Like I miss like you can't even make things that I enjoyed when I was a kid. Like you can't make all the teen movies. Like you couldn't make Meatballs, you couldn't make American Pie again. There's no way you could make American Pie again. But what would American Pie be like? A bunch of like pansexual kids, like trying to get laid or something? I
don't even want to think about that. You're right. It would be some really something I don't even know of. Like there's like infinite genders and sexualities now.
And you couldn't have an exchange student be like like the main chick. It would have to be like some
that would that would just be called racist straight away. And no, but that's the joke. Like that's what makes it funny. And they're like, no, that's racism. I got told off for a joke just earlier today. Like if you see me on Twitter, like I made a joke about Kelly Sue. See, I don't even remember their name. That's how much it wasn't even about her. But the picture, it was a visual gag, and I was like, "You look like Netflix adaptation of I'm Not Starfire." Yeah. And it was like a redheaded chick and a redheaded mom and a goth chick, right? And then they're all like, "You're making fun of a kid," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, being too sensitive. I'm literally just making a joke. I'm like, I didn't even think about it. I mean nothing of it. I can't even tell you what half of these people.
Nobody knows who these people are. It was a random picture off Google.
But apparently it's too far. Like nothing is, and I'm like, that's not even the most offensive thing I've ever said this week. Like, do you watch my shows? Like, holy crap! Like that was literally like I called Kemosabe and hockey worse, and they're my friends.
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah. Well, I mean, man, I was in the Marine Corps for like 7 years, and I definitely called my friends a lot worse things.
Yeah.
100%.
The world just needs to harden up a little bit again. Like there's like I'm not how we were just saying, like, you know, in the early 2000s and the late 90s and stuff, like it wasn't perfect, don't get us wrong, but like no one was super sensitive. It was
No,
a lot better.
oh
Like
man, there was jokes about everything, dude. There was
yeah.
there was just enough sexuality, but it wasn't deviant yet. It wasn't
Yeah.
like fucking
Not like
deviant
some of that
art. It
shit you see
wasn't
these days.
furries. It wasn't any of that bullshit. It was like it got a little spicy on Raw, you know, like maybe
Yeah.
somebody almost slipped one out, like just like good like old school humor, like stuff that you would see again in like old comedy movies that you'll never see made again.
Yeah.
They just will never make those ones like with women running around topless and like for whatever random reason, and there just won't be like all the crazy sex scenes and the weird jokes and like I don't like just it just won't happen. You won't
No.
none of those great. There won't be any good coming of age movies like American Pie. Like none of that shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if we go from like where we are now in this like ultra sensitive, you know, environment where we actually end up overcorrecting, you know, like like the next generation of kids will probably end up being the biggest bigots we've ever seen, like for real. You know, and they just straight up will overcorrect and then they'll end up just being harsh as fuck and not caring about anything at all. And then
Well, they've said a lot of things about like the rise of white supremacy, and I was like, I don't think it was a thing until like until you literally like kept screaming at people that they were like the most evil thing on the planet, and like just let lawlessness break loose. And I was like, yeah, you can radicalize people real quickly when you threaten their safety.
yeah, well, I can't remember who said it first, but I tweeted about it a few months back, right? But it's the point of it is that I'm more intolerant now than I was months ago, and that's because of the way these SJWs treat me. And like, I can't remember where I got it from, but I didn't make it up. But I like a lot of people seem to agree with it. It got a lot of likes, and heaps of people were commenting on it saying, you know, like I feel the same way. It's like you keep getting told that you're hateful, you're gonna start being a little more hateful than you originally were. You know, it's like even if you're not, right? Like if I see someone with blue hair, for example, rather than just thinking back in the day, you would have thought, oh yeah, they're a punk rocker or something.
Yeah.
These days, I'm going to go, oh shit, is that some sort of crazy SJW? And
Uh-huh.
that's me like judging them by their looks for no reason other than the fact that these crazy people have made me think that way. And
No, they brought it to your attention.
exactly,
They've gotten so in your face, and they have caused so many issues that it's become, you know, now
yeah.
you know, now it's a thing. Like
And it's like I
you
never
made it
used
a
to
thing,
think
and
this way.
it didn't have to be. It was I was all dude. I was way cool with a lot of things, like for real. Like I
Yeah,
was way cool back in the day, man. And I was like, you could be gay, whatever, that's cool. But like, dude, my understanding was like, you do you, like at home and shit, and appropriately amounts of stuff in public. Like, I don't think any like couple, gay, straight, whatever, like odd fucking things that exist nowadays, like should be overly publicly affectionate, and I don't think you
yeah,
should be like overly sexually dressed. You know, I
I
think it should just
agree.
be appropriate for the environment. And like, if you want to do more adult things, you can go carve out a corner from that. Whether it's an adult beach, like there's literally like there's nothing that you can't do in the privacy of somewhere where only like participating people want to do that away from
Yeah,
kids.
exactly. Like they're yelling at other, like they're yelling at normal people because normal people are offended by, you know, their quote unquote kink. And it's like, well, yeah, no, like
Yeah.
I'd be reacting the same way if like straight people were doing that. It's like I don't want this shit in my face, and I don't want this shit in like kids' faces, and I don't want it in. There's no reason for it to be like that, you know. Like,
No, no,
calm
like
down, everyone.
just do it in the appropriate places. Like you want to get
Yeah,
risque, like get risque at places at go to the bar at 10 o'clock at night. Like go to the casino, go places where like it's acceptable,
yeah. And it's
or
like
you know what I mean, like where it's
that
just all
doesn't make
adults.
you an isterophobe to say that either, you know.
No, just like stage. I don't know. Please don't wear assless chaps if you want my kids to come to this gay parade. Like, don't have giant fucking dicks fucking flying around everywhere. Like, is that too much to ask? Like, I don't understand like why your parade has to be identified by a giant fucking penis. Like why that has to be a thing. Like, why you have to have magic fairy wings on and your fucking like asshole hanging out.
No,
You know, like why at
even like
11
the gay
o'clock
community is
at
all
11
divided
o'clock
now.
in the morning in LA. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially not like yeah, no, not at 11 o'clock in the morning, but like they've divided. Like I feel like that's not like what happened to the gay people that were just like, you know, I just want to live my life and I want to be left alone. And you know,
Yeah.
what happened to those guys? Like, where are they now? You know, because they seem to have like that's not who we're talking about. You know, like their group has been hijacked by these crazy people, and there's a big difference between like, you know, when we say we complain about woke things, they're like, oh, you're just homophobic, and it's like, no, like gay does not equal woke. You know, like there are characters that were gay and we didn't care. That was never a problem. There are characters that were black and we weren't racist back then. We liked them. You know, like the best argument I ever came up with was Superman versus Icon. Like they're trying to race swap Superman, right? But we could have Superman and Icon. Instead, we're just going to have black Superman.
Or how about this? That's not the only, but they act like there's no other black characters. But how about we redo Spawn, because Spawn's a fucking
Spawn's
badass.
my absolute favorite. I love Spawn.
Like can you know, like how about we actually utilize the black characters that are in existence in the comic books that, you know, we might even have like taken a chance at, but like let's redo Blade maybe.
Why wasn't Blade? Why isn't
and then bring in
Blade
Morpheus?
movies?
You know, like do a real like good like deep, you know, Blade run. That, you know,
there's so much that they could have done, right? But it's for their, like, I don't think even half of them would really believe it, you know, because at face value, a lot of it sounds like the right thing to do. You know, like you fall for it because you go, oh yeah, that sounds like the good thing. That sounds like a nice thing. Sure. Of course we like inclusion. Of course we want diversity. Of course we want you to enjoy our stuff. But then, like, that's how they get you. You know, like that's not actually what they're after at all. That's just how they get their foot in the door.
They're in there to take over and shit on whatever it is that you love. And it's
exactly.
Just like, you know, and make you hate it. But you know, you can't. I'm sorry. Look, motherfuckers, like you can do what you want and make G.I. Joe globalist now. When I grew up, G.I. Joe had a fucking battleship that was the size of a fucking coffee table, and you cannot take that away.
Yeah. I'm Australian, and I had a G.I. Joe battleship that had the American flag on the side of it. That's what G.I. Joe was. I wasn't going to pretend that it was something else, you know? Like people these days have lost their way. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Why don't they make another global force, or they make like GI? Like this is my other thing. Like if they want like if they want in Australia, but why don't you just make GI Joe Australia? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and have like all new Australian characters.
Yeah,
you know, or
that's how
all new Chinese characters or all new British character. You know,
it's too hard. That's the thing. They've admitted it before. You know, they don't see that as a fault. They've admitted it multiple times that it's too difficult, and they would rather just have, you know, all your eyes are already on Spider-Man, so let's change Spider-Man. You know, it's like, no, because that's like, at the end of the day, that's not what we want. Like, what happened to the days when they would say, you know, like, I just wanted accuracy. It didn't matter what it was, if it was cartoon, comic book, or anything coming into the movies. Right. Why don't I want it to look exactly the same? I don't care what race they are or anything. I want it to look just like them. But nowadays it's like, oh no, you're racist for not wanting this redhead to be a black chick, and it's like, but she's a redhead. You know,
there are some Wolverine runs, man, that if they did like with the tech that we have now, like the CG that we have now, dude, if they would have done some of the Wolverine movies like they did, like direct adaptations from some of the comic book dudes, some of the storylines would be it would just be fierce. Yeah. It'd be a box office blowout. No, it wouldn't be a fucking problem.
Yeah, I was talking with Michael Oden the other day with you know, the Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah. They just released a Mortal Kombat animated movie as well, right? And because they're both coming out at the same time, it's perfect to compare them, you know. But the animated movies are so much better than that live action one. Like, I don't know why the live action one isn't just what they've done in the animated movie, because it's Warner Brothers, it's the same company. Why haven't they just done exactly
two different directors? You know what it is because that whoever got the cartoon probably didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It was probably some kind of like thrown away thing. You know what I mean? And somebody got a bone, and they fucking turned it into something badass. You know?
Yeah, it's so much better, man. Like I don't have the words for it because it's insane. You only get this problem with Hollywood as well, right? Like it's ego, like the sheer hubris on someone in Hollywood to turn around and say, you know, oh yeah, I'm going to take this thing that everybody loves and I'm going to make it better. It's like, you know, don't fix something that's not broken. You know, I'm not here to see your shit. I'm here to see my favorite thing.
What about Steel and like, you know, like
Steel's great.
You know what I mean?
Have you seen that Superman and Lois show has Steel? And it's perfect. Superman and Lois is a fantastic TV show, and I know it's on the CW, but it's great. I have no bad words to say about that show.
Also, like, just what about like old folklore? You know what I mean? Like, I would love it. They could make a badass fucking John Henry movie.
Yeah, we had this conversation a real long time ago now, because I'm sure you've heard of Commie Mark with his Krishna Kid and stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
This is
Oh yeah.
like,
I want to get.
I
I
know all
think I
about
did that
our
though.
stuff. Like I know all about ancient Greek and ancient Rome and like ancient Egypt and things like that. Like I know absolutely nothing about ancient African or ancient Chinese or ancient Indian. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure they have some cool stories that could be made into some awesome movie. They're not going to have to race change or steal something from someone else, and
Oh no
they're
no
going to
no
be able
no
to actually make
no because
something.
you know what'll happen, it won't be diverse enough of a cast, right? Because it'll be based in India and they'll be like, well, where's all the black people at and the other Asian people? Like, no, dude, like we're in India. Like they're just it's not what exists here. Like stop it.
Yeah, see, and like that's my whole problem is they're focusing on the wrong fucking thing.
Well, I mean that's what they complained about Game of Thrones. It was like one of the complaints.
I was like, no, that made no sense either. Like
But everything
it
about Game
showed
of Thrones makes no sense,
no,
dude.
but
Like
on the
Khalif.
map of Game of Thrones, right? They're like, yeah, there were all those like the people of other races, but they would have lived on the other side of the world. Like like there's an established world. It's like that's where they are. They're on the other side of the world. When we go there, you see them all. But when we go back over here, that's not where they are, so you don't see them. I'm sorry. Like I like Steel. I've always been a big fan of Steel.
I thought, dude, I think we could do better justice than the Shaq movie. You know what I mean? Like, I
Oh,
think that
definitely.
we could actually do something with that property.
Yeah,
And it's
they're
like,
not
why can't
quite
we
there
do
yet.
that? And like, why like can't we just have regular Supergirl? And why does she have to be somebody's girlfriend? And like, it's like this is what I don't get, right? So if you were trying to say that like there needs to be representation of people like in whatever, well, like gay people are like the smallest like piece of like the puzzle in the world, right? So I just want to know how, if in this world of superheroes where there's only so many, right, and some of them are like
Yeah.
Superman or aliens, how is it that this already super small minority group of people, individuals, have such a large group of fucking of even like of another obscure minority group like within it? You know what I mean? Like how is there so much
Yeah.
overlap?
I had a discussion just the other day with someone, like some stranger on Twitter about that, and he straight up admitted that they are overrepresented. He's like, yeah, as of about 5 years ago, they are overrepresented. And I was like, so you admit it? But yeah, like, they don't care. They straight up don't care. And that isn't like that's an unbeatable point. There is no rebuttal to that other than yeah, he like there's what is it like 1 to 2% of the world, but it's 4 out of 10 superheroes on the Justice League.
Yeah. And whatever when they change tomorrow, whatever happens in between,
Yeah,
like you never
like
know.
remember when they did that new Batman and he was completely covered and you couldn't see him and everyone said that's a black guy under there? It would have been
Yeah.
more shocking if it wasn't, because
Yeah.
everyone's expecting it these days.
Oh, dude, it would have been more shocking if they would have made it an Aussie, like a Paul
Yeah,
Hogan. That would have been great.
imagine that. It would have blown your mind and you would have never seen it coming. But no, like it's predictable. It's gotten to the point
Dude,
now where it's
that's
predictable and obvious and just it's cringe. It's
that's
straight up
another
cringe.
favorite movie from my childhood is Crocodile Dundee, dude. And like,
Hell
I don't
yeah.
think that would be allowed to be made. They would say something's wrong about. Oh, they would definitely call something racist about like their Aboriginal stuff
Oh yeah,
there. So.
they would complain that we're offended, and I'm telling you, we're not. Like every Aussie, every Aboriginal, every Australian I've ever met loves Crocodile Dundee. We always have. He's an absolute idiot. Like
Yeah. No, I thought it was a comedy character. Like I got that. Like I looked up Paul Hogan and I looked up like his other work and I'm like, I actually think he's a pretty badass dude. There's a
yeah, he
lot of
is.
great movies that he did that's all like in just the Australia region that are really good. He was on good TV shows and stuff. Like
Yeah, he was famous for a reason. Like he earned his spot.
he did some really interesting cigarette commercials too.
Cigarette commercials.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh man, back in the day when celebrities used to promote, yeah, dude, like in front of like an entire orchestra and stuff, dude. Yeah, man.
Really? Wow, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to look them up.
And then he would talk, and then he talked about how they were like cheaper cigarettes, right? Like they were like the best price, like for a working man. But I mean, but like the thing is, though, it wasn't like he wasn't pimping anything that he really wasn't in. Like he did smoke cigarettes like that. He was a bridge working dude that like worked his way onto TV, that worked into a TV show, that worked into making Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
Hmm. Which like all of them, but the third one got. I was like, man, this is when they started ruining sequels. Got into that
Yeah.
time frame.
They do that with most movies, though. I mean, how many times? Like, in my opinion, right? Like, it's not definitive. You know, more often, like you can find exclusions to the rule, but more often than not, the first movie is good, the second one is the best one, and the third one is terrible.
Man, I
It
wonder
happens
how
with a
that's
lot.
gonna I wonder how that's gonna work with Deadpool, because
Oh, I hope not.
Deadpool 2 wasn't as funny. It was all right, but it wasn't
No,
like
no,
as
yeah, as I said, there are exceptions to the rule, but like it's like just a generalization. Like every so, like you can just guess essentially, and
dude.
more often than not, you get it right.
You know, the other thing is when you don't accentuate certain things and you just like put certain people that like would be badass for a character into things like I didn't mind Jason Momoa as Conan the
Yeah,
Barbarian.
no,
You
I
know what I
didn't.
mean?
I
Like
didn't
I
hate
thought
that
that was
movie.
pretty fucking badass. You know, like if he wasn't so obnoxious personally with this bullshit, like I would like him a lot more as a person.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of them that you can ignore their politics and stuff like that, or their bullshit that they say. Like it's not even politics. It's just sometimes they just say some stupid shit online. You know, like you can ignore a lot of them because they are enjoyable on screen. But then there's plenty of them these days that you just can't. Like
I
they will
also
straight up tell you to fuck off. They're like, I don't want you watching my movies.
I also thought he was a cool Aquaman. Like, you know what I mean? He's got the exotic look. I thought that was cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I
nobody
like
had to
that.
make a big deal about it. It was just cool. I was like, oh, that's
I
fucking.
like that because he looks like the Aquaman I grew up with, you know, Justice League from the 90s cartoon and stuff. Like he looks like if you give him a hook hand, he looks just like Aquaman from like the 90s, early 2000s, but you know, not so
Oh
much
yeah,
anymore. But that's what
man.
like he looks like him. So I never had a problem with that at all. But you know, I know a lot of Aquaman fans are just losing their mind right now. Like they
Oh
hate
yeah. No, they're like,
him.
no, no. Arthur has blonde hair, and you stop
Yeah.
it. You stop it right
I was
now.
like, no, he had like the big long hair and he had a beard, and like you give him a hook hand or something, that would have been fine. But
Oh, I wonder, like, who would I don't know who would play? Who's a big blonde dude that would be good to be
like
Aquaman?
Triple H.
Triple H. I mean, like maybe Dolph Lundgren back in the day.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I don't know. There's not many. I think the best way to go when it comes to casting characters like this is to go for relatively unknowns, because like an A grade actor more often than not doesn't look like. I mean, Ben Affleck looked like Bruce Wayne. I'll give him that. But
Well, yeah,
before
old
that, I would
Bruce
have
Wayne,
never
and
pictured.
that's where I get because when I first heard about it, when I heard
Yeah,
like Batfleck, I was like, no, dude,
I
Batfleck, like this is
reacted
gonna
so
like,
bad to that. I was so upset.
and he got that gay tattoo across his back like right before then and stuff. Like I was
Yeah,
like, oh my goodness. And then I don't know, but then he put on size, like he put on some muscle and stuff. I wasn't the biggest fan of the costume, but like he was like, he was a convincing like older Bruce Wayne. I was like, oh, I
yeah,
guess you can. I would like to see that, dude. I would like them to do like the Batman Beyond, like in the movies. Like let's get past the regular Batman story and let's move into some other or let's do something new. Like use one of these other characters like Two Face in a real way, not like
yeah,
Tommy Lee stuffed in there with the Riddler stuffed in there with the Ice. Like you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, the new Batman movie looks pretty good. Like, I don't. I have my like. I think it might end up the same as the Dark Knight, because this is just my own personal concerns. But you know how in the Dark Knight trilogy they basically got rid of any chance of there ever being a character like Clayface or Mister Freeze, or anything with like magic in it.
Yeah.
Essentially, I'm a bit worried that the Batman is going to do the same thing. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. Like I'm looking forward to that, and like they've made the Riddler out to be an absolute psycho, which is, if I've always said that if I was going to make a Batman movie, I would have made the Riddler essentially like Jigsaw or something, and that's
Yeah.
like what they've done.
I'd
But
also like to see some Robin movies, dude. Like they could do a Robin
yeah,
movie or a Nightwing movie.
I want Robin, Nightwing, Clayface, I want Red Hood, but all of these things are impossible if they remove the magic and just go with a straight up detective Batman. Like you can't have the Court of Owls without the Talon. You just can't.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're going to.
Hmm.
So
I don't know. I don't know. That feels like a shame. I feel like there's this like a sick Robin movie waiting to be made.
oh,
Yeah.
definitely. There definitely is. But it's Hollywood, man. Hollywood fucks shit up for no
It's
real,
just
like
so
there's no good
easy,
reason
dude. Like
for
it
it.
just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, come on, like I want the job. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to deal with all the Hollywood bullshit of like apparently they all like, do weird things with each other on the side, and I'm not into all that jazz. But like, if I could just sit there in the room and pitch some ideas, you know what I mean? Like, because they just let any son of a bitch like make whatever retarded idea, nowadays. It just It's like then they hire whatever. Like what blows my mind is like they talk about diversity or whatever, right? And then they
Yeah.
hire all these shit artists from like Cal Arts or whatever. But then dude, if you wanted diversity, right, quote unquote diversity, and you want like, especially California is like way into like the Latina crowd, then why aren't you hiring all these South Americans that are like doing like artwork for nickels on the dollar? That's
Yeah.
like some of the fiercest, like really
Some of
competitive
the best
shit.
talent in the indie scene comes from just us going to the other side of the world and finding people that their dollar is pretty bad, but so they're really cheap for us, but they're making a killing and they're really talented, just unknown and on the other side of the world. If you can figure out how to communicate with someone whose English might not be their first language, you're golden. You're set. Like half of my friends have artists and stuff from Brazil and like other countries where it's like they speak English, but not the way us Aussies do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, only Aussies speak English like Aussies do.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, the problem isn't that they want like. Did you see High Guardian Spice? Like I'm even into this stuff.
Oh my
God, but that
dude,
was so
like,
bad. I heard about it. Like that.
And well, I heard about it because and what makes me sad about it is like they took grant money for like what should have been like promoting a real Asian artist, right?
Exactly. Like they took the money from the fans that was for an actual Japanese creator, and then they gave it to some American feminists, and then they're talking about how the story and they wanted to make everything super diverse, right? But then they talk about how the creators, the entire creators boardroom is 50% women, and then the entire writers room is 100% women. Right after they say diversity,
so much
like,
diversity.
wait a minute, like that's not diversity though. Like I don't think. What they claim is diversity is not diversity.
You know what though? This is fine. Let women screw themselves over because you know what used to be the case? This is the truth of the industry and people don't like this, but like women aren't the strongest writers in the world. And like when you go to like TV show rooms, comedy room, like for like comedy stuff, they're all kind of like when there's big groups of writers, the majority of them are men. And like it used to be like if you were a competent writer and you were a woman, because there were so few women in the industry, like it used to be a lot easier of a ride to get into something. Well, now you wanted to push this envelope or you wanted to like force it to be all women and stuff. So good. All of you can claw each other for your fucking jobs now. You know what I mean?
Well,
because the jobs are going away because you're burning down the industry because all the books are so bad. Because people are just being so ridiculous about things like that Khaleesi chick, right? From Game of Thrones doing that stupid mother comic book. She's out of her goddamn mind. But I mean, like, what sense is this? Is coming from a woman who was naked on a TV show for like 2 seasons and then got a body double all of a sudden. Like, what sense does that make?
None of it makes any sense. None of it.
But you can't tell me that Khaleesi walked into a fucking game shop and everybody didn't stop what the fuck they were doing. Dude, I grew up playing games. I know what happens when attractive women, when a woman walks in, let alone an attractive one.
Yeah, it's true.
So the most welcoming environment she'll ever be in.
They want to play victim. And then they will turn around and tell you that you're playing victim for saying that, no, you're actually not a victim anymore. You're actually oppressing others. And they're like, oh, you just want to be a victim. It's user projecting. Like it's this never-ending cycle of madness.
Like, no, I wasn't a victim.
Laugh at it.
I didn't have a problem. I was cool. I was playing Magic cards. I was watching movies. I was reading comic books. I was enjoying my life, and then you came along and fucked with all of it.
Even there's an artist who worked for Magic the Gathering, like the cards, who got fired, and I only know about her because I think her art was incredible, and she got cancelled. And that's the only reason that's the only reason I know she exists.
What did she get canceled for?
I can't remember what she got canceled for, but I think it was to do with her artwork being too sexy.
Oh, God forbid. See, this is the problem. Why can't we strive to be better, right? Like, I thought that's what superhero books were about. Like, in the 90s, I remember all my superheroes were fucking jacked. They were badass. They all were, like, fucking badass dudes and whatever. And it was, like, something to aspire to.
You want them to be like gods. You want them all to be perfect. The men should be super ripped and super muscly. The women should be super sexy and super powerful. Like they should all be like awesome at the very peak pinnacle of what you can be. Like that's what you want them to be. You don't want to see yourself in a superhero book. I'm not a fucking superhero. I would get murdered.
how is that motivating though?
Yeah.
Like seriously, like see, you're like, oh, so you're the badass? Like, no, no, dude. Like, I want something to aspire to. Fuck.
I need the badass to come and save me. Like, fuck. They're nuts. They're crazy.
Oh,
I've
and
actually
also, God
literally
forbid
built a
someone
career
look
off it.
attractive. Why is it a crime to society to look attractive and be a healthy weight? Why is that like an atrocity?
I just thought that we all, we've always, all of us, right, used to just think, oh yeah, we could all lose a little bit of weight, right? Like we can all self-improve. But like
Not now.
I'm not
No, not.
fat, but
No.
like I have a little bit of a gut, like I want to lose it. Like,
Mm.
what the hell's wrong with these people? And they're like, no. If anything, Dean, you should put on more weight. Well, why?
Yeah, you got to get chubby, and then what you got to do is cut your hair in an asexual dude. I like have
Shave one
seen
side of it.
couples like walk in to like a gas station, right? And like they both were like so like ungender specific looking at, and they had this, but they were the same, dude. Like, who wants to date like? It's like a lemming thing. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. Like, why would you want to? It's like having sex with yourself. It's some kind of weird.
They all look the same. You can describe them without ever meeting them, Like there's only a few different variations of them, but they all look the same.
And they're
Like,
all
there
terrible
might be red
people.
hair instead of blue or something like that. They might have glasses or they might have a beard, but it's all the same dude.
You know what happened for you know what works for me? Like not blaming other people for my problems and just solving them. Like
Yeah,
these
take
people
responsibility for your own shit.
walk around miserable. Like, well, dude, even if someone fucks you over, like, what are you gonna do? Like sit there and fucking cry about it forever? Or are you gonna fucking, like dust
Fuck,
yourself off, Like
these
I mean,
people they're just ridiculous. They're just sook. They just complain. They just want to whinge and cry about it all in the hopes that someone is going to come along and feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for you, Like if I fuck up, I'm going to fuck up, but there's no way I'm going to take responsibility for something that even my friend, it's like that's his own opinion. That's not my opinion. Like whether or not I share it is irrelevant. But I'm not going to take the blame for something that someone else did ever. And that's the way like they want us to feel. Like I'm not even American, but I get treated like a white American. If I came to America, I would be an immigrant technically, but they don't care. They're like,
no,
you're
no,
a
no,
white
dude.
male. That's
Dude,
all I've got.
I'm a quarter Sicilian. My grandmother immigrated from Sicily. I don't care.
You
Like
think they care
like
about that?
but like 100 years ago it did mean something. Like 100 years ago it was a whole different thing. 100 years ago, like I wasn't considered white. Like,
100
go
years
ahead,
ago, there would have been
along with
serious
like my
racism.
Irish brethren, along with the Jewish people. You know what I mean? Like they were all pale people, all not white. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, but
people.
no, just ignore that part of history. Don't worry about that. That never happened. That's what they feel like.
People don't even understand that, like, when America first formed, like, our first immigration law said that you're only allowed to immigrate to America if you're from Western Europe.
Really? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So that excluded all of the Eastern Europeans, all them Russian, Balkan fucks, like, fuck all them people. Like, Budapest,
That's
out of here. Get
crazy.
the fuck out of here, Hungary. No. None of you. None of you Italians. Get out of here.
Yeah, well, some countries still do that these days. Like Finland straight up says no to everyone. Like you have to pass a test and everything just to go there, just to move there.
Yeah, because they have like national resources and they're like societies
Yeah,
all
they're
take care of.
sorted
So
on
like
their
you're
own.
a drain. Like you got to bring something to the table if you want to like
Exactly.
eat it. Like yeah, they're not fucking around. But that's how every country should be. But your country's fucking badass when it comes to the immigration laws. You guys don't fuck around. Like fuck a border wall. You guys have a border island.
Yeah, my country's out of control. Like it really depends on what you're talking about, right? But half the time we're absolute badass, and the other half the time we're absolute sooks. It really.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, there's some like crazy stuff with the COVID shit going on around there. There's like, I'm like,
Oh yeah, I'm in the worst of that. I'm in Melbourne, so
oh no.
yeah. Everything you hear on the news and everything, like that's 20 minutes from my house.
Oh, fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have to do the whole like passport app thing to go buy groceries? Like, can you even go
They
in
want
stores?
us to. They want us to, but I've never once done it. No one I know does. It's like they reckon it's something like 40% or 30% of people are actually doing it, and most
Yeah.
people aren't. But they're trying to, like they want us to. But then in South Australia, I just found out about this yesterday. They've done something where they're forcing you to download an app on your phone, and then the police will send you a message randomly, and then you have to respond with a photo of yourself wherever you're supposed to be.
Fuck out of here,
Otherwise,
dude.
they come to you. Yeah, man. People are just going to ignore that for sure. Like that's never going to work.
I did hear that they passed some legislation in your country where they can like just take your fucking phone
Yeah, I deleted Facebook this morning.
and they can like go through all your social media and they can delete whatever they
They
want.
can.
See, this is
They
the part
can
I
not
don't
only
understand.
do
They
that.
can
They can
alter
post.
or delete any of your shit, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what? Wait,
They
how
could
does
straight
that
up
make
all
sense?
of a sudden, one day I could just start posting pro police, pro Australia, pro lockdown stuff out of nowhere, and you would think that it's me, but it's not. Like they can just straight up just take over and just go, oh yeah, you know everything that it's all of a sudden you'll see a Facebook post by Dean that says everything I've been saying for the last 6 months that was all crazy. I just wanted to let you guys know that I've changed my mind and everything's fine. The government is great. Hail Dan Andrews, and
Oh,
then
Jesus fuck.
you'll think that was me, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
it's absolutely insane. Like I straight up deleted my Facebook because of it. Because I don't care about Facebook now. I don't use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm not gonna be having that sort of shit. Like this isn't on. Like I don't know what's going on in Australia.
Dude.
Australia is mental at the
So what?
moment.
Are you gonna go into some hacker phone, dude? I'd be looking up some kind of black hat, like you know what I mean?
I'm not getting the app at all. Like
No,
they
I'm
claim
just
that we're
saying,
forced
like what
to.
happens when they like try to come by? Like I heard they're like coming to people's houses, like the military and shit. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
No, there's no military kicking in people's doors. There is a bunch of cops kicking in people's doors though.
Jesus
But
Christ.
like
Man. And I heard that they like do that. They got those laws passed by trying to like say that it's some anti-pedo shit. I'm like, but why do you need to alter like what I'm saying? Like, why does that mean that
man,
you can just like make statements on my behalf or delete shit out of my
look
stuff?
this
Or
up. This is the most shocking thing that I had ever fucking heard. But the Australian government actually has like an NDA protection thing signed because there's a bunch, and I mean like 50 or so people in our government, in the Australian government, that are registered pedophiles. But we don't know which ones they are, and we don't know what their names are or anything, and we're
what?
not allowed to find out. Something
There's
from
no
like the
public.
70s.
So you guys have no freedom of public information. So if
No,
someone gets
it's like the
something,
70s or 80s, and they're all under protection, and they're part of our government. We don't know who the fucking are.
so they're just fucking hot potato.
Yeah. Man,
Bro.
Australia is a mess, and like I wish I was still an ignorant normie. Like I was so
Yeah,
happy just
right.
enjoying my movies and reading my comic
Dude,
books and
right?
stuff.
I was just a happy like guy that would do some, smoke some pot, like
Yeah, I've
have a
been
nice
black
drink every
pilled.
once in a while, dude. Like watch some shit,
Yeah,
hang out with a lady or something, dude. Like no, I wasn't hurting anyone. I wasn't hurting anybody. I wasn't trying to be in anybody's
it
business.
wasn't until they started taking our shit off of us that we even noticed.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, dude. I'm a pretty giving person. You know what I mean? Like, I give you a lot
Yeah,
of room on some shit. Like, like before, like now it's just fuck everybody. But like if somebody would have said, "Hey, man, you know, I like to go buy a she or something," I've been like, "Cool, all right,
yeah,
like noted," and I would have like it would have been nothing. Would have
yeah.
moved
Like
on with life.
because you're not a dick. At the end of the day, you're gonna be polite to someone, you know. But when they make it, it's what Jordan Peterson gets all the shit in the world, and he's famous because of it. It's like when they try to make it a law, that's when we've got a problem with it. You can't force me to say or not to say something. You know, it's like if I believe this, I'm going to say it, and if I'm being polite, I'm going to say it. But I'm not going to buy into this crazy ideology, and that's what gets us all in trouble, and that's what apparently means I'm a bigot.
Yeah. Well, then you're a bigot too if you like support anything that's not progressive. Like it's just like, oh, you didn't like this movie, so you just hate. You're just a bigot. Like no, I just like my shit the way it's supposed to be. Like
Yeah,
I
what
wanted
was it?
Black Panther to be Black Panther, and I'm like, also like really, Black Panther is not even a good like example of a society because they are insular. They hid their shit from the rest of the continent of Africa. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're actually very selfish. It's actually
Yeah,
pretty
Black
fucked up.
Panther has abandoned the Avengers in more than one occasion because he's too concerned with Wakanda. And it's like, yeah, I get where he's coming from, but like, you know, there have been times where it's like you should have stayed with the Avengers, man. It's like, no, he goes home and then that's it. Like you just don't see him again for the rest of the story because he has his priorities. And it's like that's not a good example of like a country at all, black or white. You know, like you don't want to be doing that.
Or a hero. I mean, it's not like the greatest hero, example. Like it just
No, not at all. He's a hero to his own people, sure, but like
again, like if you're so
and that's
pro,
a
like
faux
you know what I mean.
division.
Like everybody's like Wakanda. I'm like, yeah, but like there's an entire. It wasn't like in the storybook. Wakanda is the entire continent of Africa. Wakanda is one hidden nation.
Yeah,
One hidden
inside, like
nation.
it's not even It's not even a big one. It's like a small one inside like a forest. It's about the size of like name a tiny country, you know, like it's the size of Tasmania or something. Like it's not big. Like
It's New
it's a
Zealand.
state. It's essentially
Yeah.
a state. Like
Their war effort is baking cookies.
yeah, exactly. But
Dude, when I read that, that's what New Zealand contributed to World War II. They baked cookies.
really, holy
Yes.
crap!
They didn't have resources to do fuck all, so they baked cookies. Like,
Oh,
cool.
fuck, man. It's something. It's useful.
Mm.
But oh man, look,
Mm-mm.
there's so much wrong with the way they do things. You know, it's like not even saying that I could do it better. It's just that I know someone could do it better.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just like let the qualified person do it, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And then also like don't take things like the like out of like the wrong way. Like not everybody can be out. Like comic books aren't meant to have like 2,000 word bubbles in them, you know. And like these people are writing these wordy, shitty, like really terribly scripted, wordy
Mm,
fucking comic books. I'm like, no, no. The pictures are supposed to tell part of this story here,
yeah,
and like you're just it's like no, like Alan Moore wrote something because he's like a more complex writer. He was like doing something. Like you can't just like assume that you can just stuff more words into. You know what I mean? It's like they take an example of something and they go the complete wrong direction with it.
yeah. As a comic book artist, that is usually the first note that I give whenever, you know, like whenever I get a script, the first thing I say is, all right, that's too many words. Like, let's cut these sentences down. Like, you can remove that sentence entirely. I got the point, you know, that paragraph. So you don't need to have this paragraph at all. Like, that
Hmm.
is always, and that's with every writer I've worked with. That's not just saying any one of them, but that's always on the list of things when I'm like, all right, we need to edit this or we need to edit that. It's like too much dialogue. Like, anything written by me, I swear to God, I have like one or two words in every balloon.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Well, there. I mean, being an artist, you kind of have an advantage because you can like storybook 90% of your stuff, you know, and like you already
oh
mentally
yeah,
know
yeah,
like off of half the picture what that means.
yeah, definitely. The book that I wrote myself was the easiest by far to draw, just because I knew exactly what it was supposed to be.
Man.
But yeah, it's like
Are you stoked? The flock, I did back that one. I think I backed like one of the top tiers on that one. I think I'm waiting for that book to come. There's a bunch of stuff. I backed a bunch of stuff, man, and like a handful of things came, but like, dude, like the waiting game sucks.
yeah,
Like,
well, the embrace is off printing and everything. So like if like anyone listening or anything like that, if you backed the embrace, you should have the digital copy in your inbox by now to read, because everyone got a free digital copy.
yeah, but I'm skipping that because I want the book. You know what I mean? I'm a
Yeah, that's
book
what I do.
person.
I do the
Yeah,
same thing.
I
Don't
want the
worry.
crisp feel. I want to crack that book open and like, oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. But you know, there's a bunch of people say that they read the digital and then keep the book all safe. So like, yeah, I respect that. That's cool. But
Yeah. I mean, it
yeah,
makes
so
sense, but like, dude, no, I buy books to read them, and like some of
exactly.
them I care about, and I don't open that much, but like I do buy that, like because I do want to open up and look at the art, and I want to
Yeah,
like,
like there's something different about having a bookshelf with books on it rather than having like a tablet with a that you're scrolling up and down on. It's like an actual book in your hand. It's a different thing.
different thing, and you just like I don't know, it's like different looking at the art and stuff. I don't, I don't know, I don't. There's nothing like I don't bookmark, you know, like a digital comic book, but like I'll drop a piece of paper on a page that I think is really sick in a comic book, you know, to come back and look at. Or like to reference, you know, quick open and reference, like, oh, look at this spread. But like I'm a person like I'm a terrible fan because I'm not like the one that supports like the monthly books. I'm the person that comes in there at the end and like buys the omnibuses typically. And so like I love like the whole Comics Gate scene because all the books are at least like 48 pages most of the time, but a lot of them are 70. Like isn't Death like 300 pages or something crazy?
Yeah, 300 pages of story plus extras and stuff at the back. Like it's going to be a big fat book.
And isn't it like 25 or 30 bucks? It's like nothing. It's not
It's
fucking.
cheap as hell. It is the best bargain that I've ever seen in indie crowdfunding comics. Definitely go check out Death. And Joe Ball can draw. Like, holy
Oh yeah,
crap.
he's got a bunch of covers like for a
Yeah,
bunch
man.
of campaigns.
He's
Like
got a great
he's all
style.
over the place.
So that's a definite back. Like if you're into indie comics at all. Like I'm not even friends with Joe Ball. Like I don't know him at all. You know, like he may or may not even know I exist. But I am a big fan of his stuff. Like his artwork and everything is fantastic.
All his covers are cool. I mean, I think I've gotten a couple on some of the campaigns, like, where you have your options. Because I'm not a person to typically buy everything. Although I did get the whole box on Mavericks, dude. I don't know if you've seen Mavericks, but fucking
Yeah,
Nefarious
there's a
over at Global Frequency, that dude, he fucking layered that campaign up, dude. I'm like, I want it to blow up more, dude, because there's every $1,000 there's a stretch
Mhm.
goal, and it's like this thing is like loaded to the gills.
Mavericks has basically like all of us, any one of us indie comics like CG artists, he's got us doing something. Like there's a Dean James piece in Mavericks that'll be one of the stretch goals, I'm sure of it, but it hasn't been announced or shown or anything. There's
Yeah.
basically every one of us, like name an artist and there's a
Yeah.
piece.
No, he went around and he really,
He
yeah,
got everybody.
Neff got a hold
Yeah.
of everybody, and that's the thing. That's why I'm like, why isn't this getting more needs more traction? Like I want it more because I got the big box. So like all those ammo. This is the other thing people don't realize. Neff did special like print things for a bunch of different shows featuring
Yeah.
his product. If you get the big box, you get all that shit. You get all of it, like all of the different ones. And so this is like 5 or 6 of them. Like there's so much additional material in this thing. I can't wait to see the box. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be packed full of stuff too. Like I haven't backed Mavericks yet. That's on my list as well though. Like I'm a broke ass motherfucker. I am. I have no money half the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like whenever I do get money, I end up backing like 10 campaigns at once, and like Mavericks and Death and everything. There in the next
Yeah,
couple
that's
of
what I
weeks, all
do.
getting
Man,
backed.
you know what? You get on that roll and you start like
Yeah,
buying this, but oh man, oh, but you have to get murdered, don't you? Because like, how many? Oh, dude, all the fucking like shipping has to be stupid for you.
yeah.
Do you have VAT tax like the English people have, or
It's all
like?
about $20, $20 postage, give or take. Like that's the average, you know. Like if I'm getting a box or something, it'd be more.
Mm.
But if I'm just getting the comic book and like a couple little extras or whatever coming in a Gemini mailer, it's about $15 to $25,
Well, that's
somewhere in
not too
between there.
terrible.
Yeah, like it's a pain in the ass when you've already spent 60 on on the book and stuff, you know. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
know.
I always spend at least $100 every single time I back a book. I always spend at least 100.
Dude, well, I mean, sometimes because you know what I regret every time I don't get like the sketchbook, I get mad at myself because
Yeah, yeah.
because like I wanted to make sure that I got Monster MD, and so I just backed Monster MD, and
I
now
was
I'm
about to
fucking
bring up
pissed.
Monster MD. Yeah,
I'm
all I
fucking
have is
pissed.
the book and I'm spewing. I was about to say the same thing because Monster MD, I actually just finished reading that the other day. It's one of the best books, like best comic books I've ever read. I absolutely love it. It's so good and has great Easter eggs and things all throughout it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked. Though I'm stoked to see what else Von Klaus can come out with. He's an
Oh yeah,
interesting kind of cat too, and he's got a like cool voice. He's like cool to have on streams and stuff.
yeah, he's a great dude.
You know who I'm excited to see, and it's because like his artwork reminds me of like stuff that you could see in Hot Rod stuff. But is Boob Dan fucking Dan Plagle?
Oh, I love Boob Dan.
He's gonna be
Yeah,
doing that Goblin Girl, dude. I'm telling you,
I
Goblin
can't wait
Girl is
for
like
that.
the perfect hot rod tattoo kind of thing. Like it's like reminiscent of that artist Coop. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he did all this hot word stuff, and he does like a bunch of like devil chicks and stuff, and like a
Yeah,
devil nurse or a devil
yeah,
nun.
like almost like stamped graffiti style of characters. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I absolutely love Boob Dan's work.
And dude, he's fucking I like if I was another artist and I watched Dan work, I'd like between him and Dan Frega, I wouldn't want to fucking be an artist anymore because like they're so fast and so good. Like it's not, you know what I mean? It's not even that like Boob Dan is that good, it's that he's fast too. Like I watched his live
It's
streams
the
where he just knock
combination
out
of them both.
3 pages, you know?
Yeah, but Boob Dan won the fan art contest piece we did for the Embrace, right? And he did that piece in about half an hour while we were streaming and just talking shit like me and you are doing right now. And then he's like, "Oh, here," and that was the winning piece. But that's he's a madman.
Fully rendered, like
Yeah,
fully.
fully rendered and everything. It looks fantastic.
Mhm. No, it's it's insane. Like, oh man, I wish I was that good. I mean, because I might work. Like, I would be on everybody's book. You know what I mean? I'd be like, let me
Yeah,
up. Boom. If I can knock out pages like that, 3 pages a day, dude.
that's insane. Like I'm fast. I can do like a page and a half You know, like maybe 2 if one of the pages is, you know, not really much going on.
Mhm.
But doing 3 pages like it's nothing all the time is insane.
Oh, dude, he's just like, oh man, he's just chilling, dude. He's just like a machine for like 8 hours sometimes. Like some of
Yeah.
his streams are really long, 8, 12 hours. Just
I don't draw that long, man. Yeah, I've gone to bed one night and then woken up the next morning and he's still going.
so.
I can't stress enough how much I love Boob Dan though. He's like the nicest guy. Definitely go check out Goblin Girl too because it's going to be mad fun.
I told him he needs to like edit some of those videos and time lapse them. You know what I mean? Because his shit's perfect for time lapse because it's
Oh,
just so
definitely.
satisfying. You know what I mean? It's so like because it's fully rendered, it's done, like it's a done
Yeah.
piece. And then some of the stuff that he throws away, he'll take some of those and just like throw them away. Like, oh no, there wasn't something right on it. I
Yeah.
have to redo the whole thing.
The piece that I have, right, the embrace piece that won, I actually bought that off of him, and on the back of it is another half-drawn picture of the embrace that he obviously scrapped and just flipped it over and started drawing. But
Oh,
just,
even
like,
his. Well, that's the thing. Like even his scrap. Like you know what I mean. Like some people have ash cans. He needs to have a scrap can. Like all the shit that he
yeah,
throws away.
yeah, and like if it was finished, I would have flipped it over. Like it doesn't look like a bad image at all. I don't know why he didn't like it.
There was something about it. There was something not right, and he.
Yeah.
Oh man. But I love like that's the. I'm gonna get a Goblin Girl tattoo. And then I opened my big mouth when I was drunk, and I was talking to Ali Singus, and she's doing that the egg beater project or whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
into horror stuff, so I was like, cool,
Hell
fucking,
yeah, same.
I'll do one of those tattoos too. So I wrote that check, and I'm a man of my word if I say I'm gonna do something.
Nice. Yeah,
So I'm gonna
Ellie's
have
awesome.
to get her on. I'm trying to schedule her on and figure out that tattoo. I think it'll be interesting.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Egg Beater should be pretty good too, because Ellie's actually written a bunch of stuff. Like she's written actual novels before, so she's a proper
Yeah.
writer. So you at least trust that you're gonna get a story out of her.
With an actual structure and everything.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh man, I would have to say that's one of the downfalls for the comics gate scene is that some of the best projects do not get enough exposure, and sometimes it's like the creators. Like there's some people that like write some books that are like sick, but they can't talk. Like you get them on stream, they can't say anything. Like
Yeah,
they
we
can't
make
sell
fun
the
of
product.
Odin for that all the time. Michael Odin, the writer of The Embrace and Elysian Fields and all that, right? He is a
Yeah.
fantastic writer. You YouTube any review of any of his books and everyone says they're great. The Embrace has had nothing but like positive feedback so far.
Yeah.
But he like on stream, we all just make fun of him because he's always umming and ahhing and stuff. And it's like, stop it.
It doesn't even make sense. Like everybody's here to celebrate your shit, dude. Like
They're like, we're happy to see you, man. Get excited. And then other days he's like, you know, half asleep on the stream. And it's like, come on, man.
no, it just like it doesn't seem like. Well, this is the thing, and like it's confusing, right? That's the confusing thing to the people because it's like, well, how did this guy who seems to have no personality like write this like really cool
Exactly.
book?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even make sense. Like
No, but he gives himself heaps of shit behind the scenes as well. Like we joked about sending him to hype school and everything. Yeah.
Oh man, you should make some skits like that, dude. Oh, that is one. There's some other cats. Good stuff, and like his little crew, dude.
I love good stuff.
I love all his video edits and shit, dude. It makes me feel fucking stupid because that dude's way older than me, and he like knows how to edit shit, and I can't figure any of that out.
You know what the worst part is, right? Like you know when you see that the style of like the dodgy looking cheap animation, like that's a deliberate choice. He's done that on purpose. Like he can just animate any way he wants. He can do things any way he wants, like when it comes to video editing and stuff. But he's deliberately made it look. I don't even know how he does it. It's like they're proper CG 3D models of like the crack pipe and the lighter and everything like that. It's way more professional and way more complicated than it looks. He's a bloody genius. And he's so funny, man. You just every single time he opens his mouth, yeah, because I'm in a bunch of groups with him behind the scenes and stuff, but every single time good stuff opens his mouth, he's absolutely hilarious. He says the funniest shit.
Well, I mean, they just bring a good levity. You know what I mean? It's just like it's more entertainment. It brings more. It helps draw more people in. You know what I mean? Because like,
Yeah,
it's cool to hear people talk about project stuff, but like, you don't want to hear like sometimes, especially like you get on like an Ethan Van Scriber like show, and like it's just like becomes a telethon at a certain point. You know what I mean? It's like check everybody's book. Like
a
just
lot of
jump
people
another
get
couple
annoyed with
grand.
those.
You know?
Like a lot of people get annoyed with just the like every single show being the same. It's like, here's a book, check it
Yeah.
out, here's our guest star and stuff like that. And so it's good to see like people like good stuff and like the crack pack in general. Like, did you see the D-Weeb, the trial of D-Wags?
Yeah, yes,
Like,
exactly. It's
who makes
bringing
that
other,
stuff up? That's hilarious. Like,
it's bringing in community lore. It like creates
yeah,
more of a community atmosphere. It's a lot of fun.
exactly. And so it's all those sorts of things that I want to see more of. I want to see that sort of stuff. Like, I don't want to see more drama, like there's always going to be drama, right? Like, yeah, you don't need to like everyone and whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, I want to see more we're just here having fun. Like, even if you get slightly offended by something, like, take a moment and be like, look, it's not the worst thing in the world. And I'm sure they didn't mean to offend you. Like,
Or maybe they did. I mean, if it's
well, maybe
Alex, he definitely
maybe they
meant
did.
to
It depends
offend
on who you are. Like, but no, but you know what I mean. Like, if we're just here having a laugh and talking shit, and like I'm joking with almost everything I've ever said when I'm like talking about any of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's comic books,
Well,
man. We should be having
dude,
fun.
I want to tell you something. Like when I was like, I remember like I used to go to the fair, right? And at the
Yeah,
fair, like I'm from Ohio, it's like a county fair thing. It's a big thing, like it's a Midwest kind of thing to go to fairs. And like there used to be like all these funny T-shirts in the '90s, right? There would be everything from like pot jokes to other like just a bunch of different like interesting kind of stuff,
yeah.
shirts and like the jokes, dude, were completely offensive, but that was on purpose. Like everybody had a sense of humor. Like they literally had like a shirt that had the Tricks bunny on it. Like I remember the shirt that said "Silly faggots, dicks are for chicks." Nobody was offended by it. Like I had
What
20
the
gay
fuck?
friends that had that shirt. It-
Yeah, that is funny. That's the no one should be offended by that stuff at all. Like, that is hilarious, and I would have laughed at that, and I would have shown my gay friends that. The first thing that I would have done was be like, hey, gay mates, like, because I grew up with a couple of kids, right? Like, one of them was my best friend in primary school, and these days he's a full-on gay guy, but that didn't change how I talk to him or anything. Like, we grew up as kids together. I'm still going to talk to you the same way, except now, instead of making fun of you for girls, I'm going to make fun of you for guys. Exactly
yeah,
the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter. Nothing's
yeah,
changed.
yeah.
But apparently that's offensive.
No. Oh, treating your friends like friends is like the most terrible thing in the world.
Yeah, how dare I?
How dare you treat everyone equally? Oh, dude, like I mean, now you're not allowed to see color. Like when I was a kid, like you were told to erase color, don't see color. Everybody's gray, right? And then like everybody was like cool with that. Now it's you're racist because you didn't see the Chinese. I thought we were all the same.
Yeah,
What the
exactly.
fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
make your mind up.
I've spoken about him before here on my show. I have a friend who I grew up with called Antonio, and he's
Mhm.
an Asian dude. I know he doesn't sound Asian, but Antonio, and I guarantee he's Chinese as hell, right? But he always told us that he didn't even know he was Chinese until he was told that he was Chinese. Like, until we were about 13, 14, and we learned all about races and things. He always just thought that he had a funny looking face. And that was as far as it went to himself. And that was his words, not mine. That was exactly how he put it growing up. And he was like, I was told that I was different and stuff like that. And he goes, before that, we were all just kids playing basketball and football and like everything. Like he was just another one of the Aussie kids, But we
Yeah.
were all taught those things that
Well, now
it's
they
not fair.
teach kids all kinds of shit, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Don't even talk about that. Yeah.
The things that they like, dude, Sesame Street, like
I hear
Sesame Street.
about teachers every single day these days. Like the last couple of weeks, there's been a new teacher getting fired every couple of days just because of like some crazy shit they said or
It's a
did.
new dude. Okay, so like, here's another thing that was cool about the '90s. You know what was going popping in the '90s? There was a bunch of teachers sleeping with people. It wasn't teachers indoctrinating motherfuckers. It might have been like a gangbang or
Yeah.
something. I did a
Yeah.
whole episode, my buddy on our other show, dude, about it. Like it was a literally epidemic that was happening in the late '90s to early 2000s.
Our generation was just extra smooth.
Yeah, no, dude. Let me tell you this. There was a teacher that came into my high school, all right, and she was fresh out of college. She was like 23, and she was banging, dude. And she did look like like one of the like
Jealous.
senior chicks or whatever, right? And so like her first week there, like half the fucking male population of the high school ended up in the principal's office because they were hitting on what they thought was a new female student. It was
That's
actually a new
hilarious.
English teacher.
Yeah, that's shocking though. Like my school growing up, I never had any good-looking teachers in my school at all. So really jealous
See,
of that.
okay, that's the other thing, dude. Like all these teachers are like insanely good looking. That's the part. Like there's very few ugly ones in the mix. Like some of them are like in Ohio. Like there was like two cases of like they were former cheerleaders, like NFL pro cheerleaders.
Ridiculous.
Like how,
Yeah,
dude?
did you see that video? There's a dude. He's a kid. He's like 17 today. He'd be like 17 or 18. And when he was 16, he had a threesome with two of his teachers. Did you see
Yeah.
him? He went viral because he made a video about it and everything. And the smug look on his face. This son of a bitch. Like,
Dude, why would you? This is what's wrong with these idiots, though. I would have never told. I wouldn't have told
nah, never,
anybody, dude. I would have
never.
never told myself. I wouldn't even told my buddies. I would have tried to get in on it. Like the fuck out of here, dude.
No way, man.
That would
Like,
have been
it's never gonna
my
happen again now. It's never gonna
yeah.
happen again.
Exactly.
He's a
No, you
fool.
ruin it. You ruin it.
Yeah.
You went public and you ruined it. Like the fuck, man. I would have never told. I never told. And
Oh.
one of the guys in the audience asked if you thought that Comicsgate is gated, like a gated community. I don't think so. I think it is on the upper echelons. I think if you're coming in as a pro and like you have like you can do some major sway or damage or whatever by swinging around a Comicsgate name because their eyeballs are on you, especially in the industry. I could see like there's kind of like a guard there, but I don't think there is anything like very entry on the lower tiers, man. Because
No, especially not in the lower tier stuff at all, right? Like that's all straight up like raise yourself. But there's a lot, like I wouldn't say any gatekeeping or anything like that outside of like, where the comics gate against the woke crazies. But like
yeah,
you can be anything, left or right leaning, like black, white, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not some woke psycho. That's basically the only thing. So I don't like I've never like I've never done anything one way or the other. I've disagreed with people in CG and everything. Like if anyone was going to be gate kept, I would be a great candidate for it. Like I've said some shit, but like no, like I don't think so. Like maybe with the bigger groups because we don't really know them and they like I know what my inbox and stuff looks like, so I can only imagine what Ethan Van Sciver's inbox looks like. You know? Someone
Well, this
like
is the thing. I don't
ex-pros,
necessarily think anybody's
maybe.
fucking innocent. I can tell you this. Like, when I look at it, I think that there is, like, I would say at the very top echelon, I think there is a gatekeeping.
Yeah.
There is a marker, man. There is a marker that like can
Yeah,
keep you
but
knocked off
I
because
don't
there
think it's a
even.
definitive line, though, is what I'm saying.
I don't think it's necessarily a definitive line, and I don't. But I'm not necessarily saying that everybody that in the scene is like acting in good faith either.
No,
Like for
no,
all I
no,
know, like
definitely not.
any one of the top dogs could be fucking dirty. The people who
No,
I do think are
there's a lot of deceptiveness, like people that you would think were your friends won't be your friends and stuff like that. But like, I haven't come across anything like I've just heard stories about people doing things to other people, but
two people that I do think that are credible, like that I believe, and I could just be wrong, but it's a personal, just like gut feeling. Is I believe Malin and I believe Fraga, 100%.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, same. I 100% like Fragger is probably my favorite out of all the ex-pro dudes. Like I think he's just such a nice, likable guy. Like I fucking love Fragger. I got no bad things to say about Fragger at all. And Malin is like they call him coach for a reason. Like he is
yeah.
exactly what you need to. He tells you exactly what you need to hear sometimes, even if you don't like it. So like I have
He's
a lot of
open to
respect
all
for Malin.
creators too, though. Like I've
Yeah.
had conversations with him in the chat. He's been live on his stuff. We had like a 20-minute conversation back and forth where I was just in the chat, like talking to him about AEW wrestling.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I've been on a show with Malin before, like just coincidentally, like I was on How to Draw Comics with Clayton and that, and then Malin just showed up randomly. So it was like, oh hey Malin, what's going on? Like never met you before, big fan.
Dude, that is something, dude. Like every once in a while, like some of these pros do actually pop in there. Like,
Yeah,
damn,
it's unheard of, man. Like I get followed, like I'm followed by people that 10 years ago there would have been no way for them to even know that I exist. It's like these days, like I'm conversation with people on the other side of the world every day, like it's nothing.
Well, my big thing is what I'm waiting for is for like we need like 2 or 3 more years of books to get published. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of momentum's building up, and it's getting to the point where it's really difficult to keep up with all the good books.
Yeah, a lot of us are trying to do things to push into stores and stuff like that. Like because like I know that, you know, there's the general consensus that like, oh, you're Comicsgate, you're bad, blah blah blah, right? But there's a lot of comic book stores and a lot of like normies that are just like, yeah, man, I'm into nerd culture. I don't care about any of that crazy like culture war stuff. You got a cool book? Sure. Like I've spoken to a lot of store owners that I plan on putting my books into their stores when they, you know, when they actually exist. I don't have many yet, but over time, like this time next year, ask me again and I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're gonna do a print run. I mean, you know what I mean. You're gonna get your book funded. You're gonna have X amount of copies, and then yeah, there
Yeah.
should be plenty of stock to go knock out some stores, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
That's
what
the
I
plan.
you know what I want to see come out of CG, and I think that like shows like good stuff and like yours and like that bringing some other content can do is like start developing street teams, dude. Like having people like this is you know what I mean. We have all these people in the chats and stuff, and one of the things I see as a problem in CG is the engagement. Like, dude, some of the biggest creators will have like 900 people in the chat and 300 likes. Like, how
Yep.
do you like you know what I mean? Like, and then
Yeah, but
like be
a lot of
funding
the
these.
smaller ones have better engagement than the bigger ones do as well. And a bit of that can be put into, you know, like maybe you lose control. Have you seen how fast those chats move? You know, like you
Yeah,
can't exactly engage in a conversation, even if you're just in the chat.
but they don't do things like hit the like
Exactly.
button. Why? Hey, while you're here, hit the
Exactly.
like button.
That's what I was about to say. It's like, yeah, that's the exact, like they don't, like there's a difference. Like that's what I try to make Comics Mate was more of a show. You know, like I didn't want it to just be us sitting there talking shit and ignoring the chat and, you know, doing all like I wanted to have a segment and then we move on to the next segment and that lasts a certain amount of time and stuff like that. You know, you don't want to just keep doing the same old shit, and keeping the chat involved is more important than I can even stress. Like, if you have any person there that is there voluntarily, you know, it's not just one of your mates or something that you've been like, hey, man, I'm streaming, come watch. It's someone that you don't even know and they've chosen to be there. Like, pay attention to them. That's crazy. Like, what?
No,
It's
it
nuts.
is an interesting thing when you get everything popping, man. This is a new
Yeah.
show for me, so and it's a new time slot, so I'm just like working out an audience now for it. But like, yeah, dude, like when
You
you
just
have
got to keep
everything
at
like
it.
crazy going, dude. We do a lot of eating challenges on the other show, man, and like so we'll do like some kind of crazy amount of food in a 40-ounce beer, right?
Nice.
So like we've done 40 40 chicken nuggets in a 40. We've done four or three Big Macs in a 40. We did an entire pizza in a 40.
Hell yeah.
Oh, the worst one though, one of the worst ones that like really like wrecked me was the entire it was we ate a box of waffles and chugged a bottle of syrup.
Holy shit. How'd that go down?
Dude, I was my hands were like it was like I had like a sugar like react like it fucked my blood sugar was
Were
all
you like
jacked up.
sweating or what?
Dude, I started shaking like I couldn't and then I fucking as soon as I got off the stream, I started like I don't know, it was like maybe 5 minutes and I was like in a coma for 4 hours. I
Really?
went yeah, like my body just shut down, dude. Like, it wasn't
Wow.
having it.
That's nuts.
So yeah, like I wouldn't suggest doing that one. We also do some like hot challenges too, like and that's where I really shine through. That's what I am the reigning champion of the heat challenges. The last one I did
Nice.
was the world's hottest gummy bear. So it's 9,000 Scoville units in one of those little bad boys.
Really? What
Yeah.
the hell?
And so I ate three of them, one after another, back to back, head to head with another gentleman, and he crumbled under the pressure of it all.
I would have too.
Dude, I made it through the entire stream
That's
and even
joking.
drank a beer for 45 minutes and like talked afterwards while he was like rolling around on the ground. But
Did you
dude,
have milk
like
or something? Like you would
no,
have had
no, no.
something, right? Like,
But
come on.
no, no, wait. So this is what I wait though. But then I got off camera, right? And I was backstage and I started getting nauseous. Like it started catching up to me, right?
Yeah.
And I had to get I just got off the fucking back of the stream yards, you know, and I was talking to my buddy. I just got off real quick and I jumped in the shower, dude, and I was burning hot, like fuck, my whole body was burning. I turned that shower on like completely cold. And then my stomach just like, dude, I was so nauseous, right? And then I puke out this red shit, which is all the gummy stuff, right, with all the spice and shit in it, right?
Yeah.
But when I did that, what I did is I fucked myself over because it like moved everything in my stomach, and so like when everything went back down, right, as it's flowed back down, it's like it coated my stomach with fire. Just as
Oh
all the fluid
gosh.
rolled back down, it was like my entire stomach was on fire. And I'm like in the fetal position in the shower, dude, like ready to die. And I climb out and I go to the fridge and I grab a gallon of water. I'm drinking a gallon of cold water, chugging a gallon of cold water while in the shower, like with freezing cold water on me, dude. Oh man. And it took like 45 minutes and then I was straight. But like, oh dude, it was the worst burning ever. Oh my god. That gallon of water was so so helpful.
That's
Oh,
insane.
I paid for that, yeah. But I won. But see, the other dude had to get my government name tattooed on his ass.
Why?
That was the
What?
bet. That was the bet. That was the bet. Whoever loses the
Wow.
challenge has to get the other guy's name tattooed on his ass.
That's all. Did he do it?
Yeah,
Legend.
he
All
did
right.
it
Well,
himself.
yeah,
He
I've got
actually has his
respect
own.
for it for actually doing it.
Oh yeah, dude. No, you can't hang out with the Outcast Owls and not follow through with your word. That's not how it
Nice.
works. Mm. We're all men. We're all men over here. We stick true. That's one of my big things, dude. Is like, it's preserving culture and preserving things that like make shit work the right way and
Yeah.
make all of us happy.
Yeah. Well, there's not enough of that in the world these days. Too many people saying they're going to do one thing and then doing the other.
Dude, I'm fucking over it. Like they talk about all this diversity in comics, like they're making things more diverse. They're just making shittier comics with worse writers and terrible artists.
Yeah.
And like, but in CG, like I look around and I see like, and even like some of the Kickstarter, I can't. After they started banning people again on Twitter, like I'm not gonna back anything on Kickstarter again. But like,
Yeah. I'm blocked from whoever her, like, what's her name? I can't even remember, but she blocked me before I even met her. So I'm
yeah,
never
she
going to
just chain
Kickstarter.
blocked everybody. It's fucking insane, dude. But like,
Yeah,
there's
even
more.
people that aren't CG, like even anti-CG people got blocked, and they're just indie creators that I guess said something she doesn't like. Because I
Oh
saw
damn.
people from all sides just saying that she's blocked them.
It's a CG witch hunt, dude. Anybody that could be, just associated with like going against the
Ridiculous.
big two or whatever, like outside of the box, like. But the thing is, though, is I see more creative book. Like there is a fucking octopus cowboy book. There is
Oh,
the
how good does the
fucking.
art in that book look too?
That's
Holy
fucking
crap.
sick, right? You know what I mean? There's a monster doctor book. I backed the Perfect 10, right? And
Yeah,
like,
Perfect 10's awesome.
and I got like the Earth Time books, and there's like a vegan red dude, like that looks like the Hulk or whatever. Like there, Ace. I got 6 8 over here, or yeah, 6 8 over here. Fuck, and I got Starlight Cats. I got that for my daughter. Starlight Cats, and then
Nice.
a bunch of other stuff. But like these are all different books. These are
Yeah.
all over the map. Like, dude, you used to be able to go to comic book shop. Like now, all you can see is manga and a handful of like graphic novels. But you used to be able to go to comic book shop and there was all kinds of different comics. Like whether I'm into it or not, I like seeing a diverse group of shit. I like seeing that there's a bunch of different stuff so I know I can go find my shit.
Yeah, because there's a difference between something just not being for you, and you're like, yeah, it's not for me. I don't like it, but I get why someone else would like it. And then something being just straight up crap. And you go, yeah, this is not good. It's not for me and it's not for anyone else. It's bad. You know? Like,
Oh, it's
there used to be plenty of things where it's like, okay, I'm not into that, but it doesn't look bad. Like it still looks quality, whatever it is.
there's not, you know what I mean, like they act like that CG is just making, it's just like we're Marvel from the 90s, right? Like they're just like
Yeah.
shitting out like X. No, there's very few books like the books are so different. If anything, there's too many werewolf books.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I'm like, yeah, we do get slack for the werewolf books, but I don't think there's any new werewolf books coming. It's like werewolf books are like, we get it. We made a point, and yeah, we understand. We agree. No more werewolf books.
But I mean, like Rock and Roll Ninja, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, Shotgun Samurai.
Shotgun Samurai, yeah, dude. They're just like, what?
There's so many good ones, like
And
it's
they're
just,
different. Like that's actual diversity, and they're actual.
yeah,
But this is the thing. Like, okay, like Starlight Cats, that's Shane Davis and his wife Yanzi Lin. She's not American born, and she's an Asian creator, and she's
no,
a
Shane
shill.
gets accused of fetishizing her.
Yeah, she's fetish.
It's
She's a
like,
fetish. Yeah. She can't be his wife, you know, God forbid she's a
Yeah,
fetish
God, God forbid he
and
loves her.
she's a shill.
Fucking, that's
He couldn't
ridiculous.
like her for her personality. They couldn't. I don't know. She only like she runs like a comic book shop, right? I don't know. They couldn't have like the same kind of common
Yeah,
interest or anything.
no, they're not allowed to genuinely like each other. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, he's a comic book artist and she's an inker. Oh, that does. Oh, that. God forbid you compliment each other in a relationship, dude. I wish I had like somebody like in a relationship with me, like a team up like that, dude. That's fucking
Yeah, I
like to
know,
be
it'd
able
be
to have someone
great.
like work with you like that, dude.
Yeah, like
That's
if
how
I
I
could marry
found
a writer,
CG is through Shane Davis. He started doing videos. Like I came way late to this thing, and
I found CG through Tug.
yeah,
Yeah. Like, it was completely random. It was Renfamous and that. Yeah, get this. The good guys of this situation were doxing Tug. And I saw Tug's face and I found out his name and everything like that. And I was like,
mm,
what the fuck? I'm like, if this is real, go, why the hell are you doing this? And then
yeah,
they started with the whole their hate groups and stuff like that. And literally the first conversation I had was like, I don't know anything about that. I go, Tug's a cool YouTuber. And
mm,
as far as I can see, I go, you guys right now look like the bad guys. So I'm going to go over there and see what they're up to. And then that's how I found CJ.
yeah. Well, then I started finding all these different streams, dude, and there's so many, and like some things need to be worked on. Some of the connective tissues need to be worked on because CGers have a bad habit of having their friends on without dropping any information about their friends in the description, without putting anything in the chat, without
Oh yeah,
having
we
any of their
we need
friends
to
listed on their
expand
channels.
across.
You
You
know
need
what I
to get
mean?
those groups together too. Like that's not something that happens enough either. Like you get
Yeah.
all of the UK boys over here, you get all the like there's a bunch of different groups, but you know, just you get the Americans over here, you get the UK boys over here, you get CG Japan, you get the Aussies, and then even all of those groups are
Okay, I have
fractured
not
into
seen
smaller
CG
groups.
Japan, so that's one I haven't
It's
discovered.
just
Like
two dudes.
I found Aussies and I found UK dudes, but I have not found Japanese
Yeah.
dudes yet.
There's an actual CG Japan Twitter account
Oh,
as well. Like I'm pretty sure it's just two dudes. Like there's not
I'll have to
many
look
of
it
them,
up.
but like yeah, there's a
What is
couple
it?
of
But
them.
what are they fighting against in Japan? Japan, everything is fucking gravy, right? Unless they just like
Yeah, they don't like Western comics.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Man, that's another person on. She's gonna be a guest coming up. Is Irene, dude? She came on with a sick
Irene's
fucking book.
awesome. Yeah.
Sick book, dude.
Yeah.
Like
She's
so
a super
detailed.
successful female creator with a manga style comic book, and we're apparently a hate group. We are
Yeah.
bad at being a hate group.
Asian female. Well, you know, the problem is that she looks too white. She's like her.
Oh yeah, white passing. That's right. Yeah, yeah, you're
That's the
right.
problem. She's not Yanzi, so she's not a shill. She's
Fucking
she's white
ridiculous.
passing, so she's bad. She's evil, and
Oh
she
wow.
speaks too clearly. You know what I mean? Like her she has no accent.
Yeah, and anyone listening out here, like, you know, if you hadn't come into contact with these people, you'd think we're just making this stuff up because it's so ridiculous. But no, like these people exist. They're absolutely mad. They're insane, and they say the most like astounding shit. Right? Like the most racist things you've ever heard have come from like those crazy woke types, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not making these people up, and you know,
No,
like
no, it's literally insane. Like they just like they
no,
just
because I've had
attack
family members and stuff that, you
everyone.
know, have nothing to do with any of the culture war or anything like that,
Mm.
right? And they straight up don't believe you. Like if you tell one of your normal everyday friends about the person that just told you on Twitter that, you know, the Taliban is awesome, they won't believe you. They won't even think that it's a real person.
Dude. They, oh
That
no,
happened multiple
no
times
one
this
would
week.
believe something. But this is the thing, though. This is like the ridiculous part of the situation is like you're in Australia, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that you like reached out to the Aboriginal community, right? And you like found artist, you know, and brought them into CG. Every single one of those artists would be some kind, you know what I mean? They would figure out a way to like put them in some kind of box to make them bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
Just because
exactly what they do all the time.
it says CG, just to you know.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been like even comics mate, right? Like I'm like, yeah, we're your
Yeah.
mates, we're
Like
your
oh,
mates in comics from the land down under, but it's still too close for them. They don't care.
I'm just an Australian dude. God forbid I
Yeah,
say comics man.
yeah, like you should have seen it. Like they're nuts. I deal with them daily, and they're nuts.
It's painful, dude. I wonder if there's a comics gate in the Caribbean. That'd be interesting.
I mean, I wonder
I mean, because they're like I've talked to
why
people.
not.
on political discords, I've talked to people in the Caribbean islands and stuff, and like they're very affected by like these world politics, and especially like with America and its proximity to like the Caribbean.
Yeah, if the US affects you in any way, you probably noticed this stuff. Like that's how most of us got here in the first place. Yeah, because like you guys, like in the US, if you guys really do fuck everything up with like the woke nonsense, then I'm screwed. I'm in Australia. I'm next. You know,
Oh
like, it's
yeah,
just
you
gonna
guys
keep
because well,
coming.
you guys
Yeah,
are already. But I mean, Europe and
yeah, but we're
Australia.
screwed in our own different way. You know,
You
that's something
guys are already
completely different.
you guys are already bought and sold like on it,
Yeah,
dude. I
send me
mean,
gun parts, please.
like it's easy, dude. Well, I mean, 3D printing. It's
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like we're joking, but it looks like it might head that way. You know, another 6 months from now.
Dude,
Shit crazy in
I
Australia.
give props to anybody that resides in Australia, not just because of like the crazy thing that goes on with the government, because you guys have wild government,
Yeah.
but like you have the 10 most deadliest everything in the world there.
Yep. Yep.
Everything that is the most deadly exists only in Australia.
Yeah, I've seen 13-year-old girls, right? Australian 13-year-old girls pick up poisonous snakes by the head and just throw them over the fence like they're nothing. This is 13-year-old girls.
Bro, like you know
Yeah.
what? See, look, I'm a goddamn combat vet, dude, and there's a lot of shit that don't make me fucking
No, man,
think
I
twice. But
agree.
like I tell you, a fucking venomous snake, like yeah, give me that 13-year-old. I will take that 13-year-old girl to protect my ass. I'm fucking with that snake, dude.
No, I agree, man. I have seen other Australians do stuff that I'm like, yeah, I would never fucking do that. No way. They are
Mm.
nuts. Like you see those videos, right? Like this is something I would do, right? Like you see videos of us like we're fishing in the river or whatever, and we just
Yeah.
push a crocodile away from us like it's a dog. Like that's what you do. Like just get out of here, you fucking annoying little thing. Like because the crocs that we get aren't quite big enough to eat us. Like they could hurt you. They could probably get a whole leg off you if you really let them. But I mean,
Yeah.
who's gonna let them? You know. So it's more just like a big annoying dog in the water with you, and you're like, get away from me, and you just push it away
You
as
know
you're
what? You know
fishing.
what the plan should be for Aussies is like you should just run to them. If like Australia goes bad, like a good chunk, like the good Aussies should just find a little spot in America because like I mean you pretty much would just fit in. You'd just be another dialect. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
already
we
have
could we
tons
could
of
go into the middle of like the desert or something, and we could just adapt because it's essentially Australia anyway.
yeah, yeah.
We're
You
fine.
said
Most of our
it.
country's desert, so we could just take some of that.
You can just take over Nevada.
Yeah, fucking oath. Most of Australia would fit in there too, to be honest.
Oh my god, a lot of shit would fit in Nevada. But you know what? God damn, it would be used for that land. That would be that would be interesting. Just like a whole population of Australia.
Instead of a desert, you just drop Australia.
It's New Australia, just like in the middle. Oh, dude. I mean, hey, might as well. Might as well. There's insane. Oh, dude. Like the whole world loses its mind, but like what I don't understand is like why Australia has so many problems. Like I understand like there's the deadly creatures, but then there's like all the cool shit. Like you guys got some like the sickest beaches and stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
so like for all the bad wildlife, there's a bunch of cool wildlife too. Like beautiful fucking scenery and shit. Just like it's like sick weather. It's like I don't know why your news because like you guys don't have as many murderers or like shit in the U.S. Like you don't have
No,
nearly
yeah.
kind of problems and shit. Like why your news isn't just like butterflies and rainbows 90% of
Our
the time,
only issue is our government. Like our biggest problem is the way our government acts. Like the people, the land, the tourist attractions and stuff. There's heaps of cool shit to see. Like the animals and stuff are cool. You got some stuff in Australia that you can't get anywhere else in the world. But then you have all the government and stuff that are ruining all kinds of shit for different reasons.
You know what I mean? Like, but no, like your news report should be like
They
another
should be,
lovely
but
day in Australia. You know what I mean? Like a
man,
crocodile wandered
we
onto
get
John's lawn this afternoon. Like the fuck, you know,
they talk about Black Lives Matter and stuff on our news. Like our news is so boring that they talk about American politics on our news.
yeah, that's stupid. They should just talk
Yeah,
about how great Australia is. Just like,
they should, but they don't.
here, we're back on Bondi Beach, like giving you the weather report. Like you
Yeah.
know, it should be like your news reporter should be like South America. You know, like yeah, they have those real sexy like weather
Oh,
girls.
hey, all
That
of our
should
weather
be
girls
like
are
all of
absolutely
Australia, and
beautiful.
they should just do just the weather reports from the beaches.
They should. Like they honestly should though. Like our world would be a lot better off. Like our
How cheery
country.
would that be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, and
We got to
like I
stop
know that
focusing on
you're
bad
used to
things.
Australian accent, but like I just sit there and think like that's a very, very sexy accent coming from a woman, that'd be very aesthetically
You
and
say that, and you say that, right? But then you're
audibly pleasing.
walking. You think that, right? But Aussie girls are terrible, right? Like you'll hear us Aussie men talk about it all the time. It's hilarious, right? Like you'll be walking past, like let's say you're just walking into the shops or whatever, right? It's a supermarket, and there'll be this chick sitting there, and she's actually really good looking. But then when she talks to you, she'll say something like, "Oh, she'll like, g'day, love, you got a dart? I need a ciggy. I'm sweating me hole out." And you're like, "Wait a minute, what?" And like what she just said was, she's like, "Good day, like good day, sir. Can you please lend me a cigarette? I am quite hot and I am very sweaty today." But you know, the way she said it is trash as fuck. And it's like,
look, I like to
our
think
women
that
look good.
I like to think that the majority of Australia is like the movie The Castle, and
Yeah, we do.
that's like the way I like to picture Australia. This is
That's
called an
actually
ugly stick. It's
supposedly
the only
accurate.
fishing stick. I was like, hell yeah, that's how I like to picture Australia. That and really gorgeous women. See, in the military, like I'm in the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps when I was in the Marine Corps back in the day, and like that was like one of the places you want to go, especially like if you're single and you're looking for a wife.
Oh hell yeah. Come down to Queensland. I'm telling you, you want to go to Queensland because the entire state is just a big ass beach. Like
Well,
they're in the city in bikinis. It's great.
here's the benefit though, right? Like this is the thing. Like these women somehow find out like because like there's a ratio. See, you're spoiled. You sons of bitches are spoiled. There's like
Yes.
10 women to like one dude. So
Yeah,
like
and
if a
all of us
bitch
dudes are
cops an
bogans.
attitude, you just be like, eh, eh, just talk to somebody else and just you don't even have. God,
That's
the women
that's the
have to
thing too.
compete. The women have to compete in Australia. It's
Most of
insane
the
to me.
like, you know how they say, all right, like Australian, like the biggest Australian import is like good looking surfers, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly women. Like most Aussies in Australia, right? The women are mostly good looking. Yeah,
Hmm.
like all Aussie babes. But most of the men are like bogans and shit. Like we are spoiled rotten. Like we don't care. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, no, you're a bizarre world. No, it's like this
Every
unfair
girlfriend I've
dynamic.
ever had in my entire life is way too hot for me.
Oh,
But like, you know, it's Australia.
yeah, exactly. You guys got these attitudes. It's not like that in America. It's not the same kind of pickings. And so, like, these women find out. And so, this is the other thing too. These
They
are
find out.
careered women. These are not just like. It's not just like Betty June. And so, like in America, most women you have to pay for. You go to Australia, most of these women have jobs. Like
Yeah.
maybe even a better job than you.
Yeah, a lot of my girlfriends, like not my girlfriends, like friends that are girls, most of
Mhm.
them are like have better, more stable jobs than me. Like sometimes they get paid more than me, sometimes they don't, but they're always regularly paid. You know?
Yeah, like no, you can go to Australia and pick yourself up a scientist in a weekend. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
He's not
Yeah.
wrong.
It's like some lonely doctor, some lonely heart surgeon, like with a fucking $1 million pad and nobody to give her dick. I'm like, yeah, woman, I'll come service you. Put me up. Be gorgeous and have all the money. What do you want? Attention? I'll schedule the shit. I'll get a fucking date book.
Yeah,
I'll make
my
sure that you
ex-girlfriend.
get all the
My
fucking
ex.
attention you want. Like,
Yeah, no, my ex was a beautiful blonde nurse. Like she was paid better than me at the time. But yeah, it's not uncommon. That's Australia. Like there is, but all of us guys, like, you know, we're just average at best. Like you get like one attractive dude every now and then, but most of us guys are just average looking
oh
dudes.
yeah. Okay, so is that okay? This is my okay because like Hugh Jackman doesn't make sense with his wife.
No,
Like
yeah,
that dude.
that is
What?
he loves his wife, man. Like he
Yeah,
loved her
no, it is.
before he
No,
was famous,
it
and he
is or
loves her
he's
now.
gay. It is or he's gay.
Oh,
It's one or the
I
other.
reckon he's gay anyway. Have you seen him on Broadway and stuff? Like, come on.
That's
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Like it's one or the other.
yeah. But yeah, there's
Hmm.
actually a few of them like that, like famous Aussie actors with just like, you know, not necessarily saying their wives are ugly. It's just like average women.
Just average.
Yeah.
With like, but this is the thing. There's so many attractive women. It doesn't even like. How did you find? Like
Did you find it?
what's special about her? I almost want to know. Like, is it a personality thing? Does she cook something?
Does she swallow?
Yeah. Like, is there like a maneuver that she did better than all the hot ones? Like,
It's like she's just super flexible. That's what it is.
mm, mm. But yeah, dude. I mean, like, oh, this is the thing though. Like, I mean, I would be hard. That's kind of hard, dude, to be like, if you're a chick married to Hugh Jackman, fucking Wolverine, dude. You know, and then he went from being an Aussie actor to be the world state. You know, that's big
Yeah,
fucking blow up, dude.
Wolverine was like the thing that blew him up, you know.
And he
Before
is
that,
like
he
the
was just a
quintessential
Broadway.
Wolverine. Like that's it. That's who they think. Like when people think of Wolverine, that's like the guy.
Oh yeah, he nailed it. And he doesn't even necessarily look like Wolverine, but you know, like he
You
looks
know
like
who I
Wolverine
thought would
now.
be Wolverine before him, before he came around, or anybody knew about him? The
Who?
only person I thought, and he was already too old to do it, was Clint Eastwood. I was like, the only I thought for
Yeah,
sure
he would
Clint
have been
Eastwood could
great.
be a sick Wolverine.
A lot of
Maybe
people
he
have
could be
said
an
Clint
old man
Eastwood.
Logan.
Yeah, a
But
lot of people have said that they should make Old Man Logan with Clint Eastwood. A lot of people have said that.
mm,
But
that would
yeah,
be
there's a
sick.
lot
But
of
he's
it.
busy doing all these border crossing movies. Like he's got this political agenda going on.
Does he? I had no idea.
Yeah, he's been doing like a lot. Like the last three movies he's done has been some kind of like border like centric movie. Like he's like a like he was on one he's like an old guy. He's like a muling stuff across, and another one he's like a farmer protecting the border. It's been very border. Like the last three or four movies are like that.
Hmm. Oh, I saw a trailer for his new one. A new one. This looks like a cowboy movie, like an old
Oh,
man still got it cowboy movie.
that would be fucking. Oh, I would love that, dude.
I
I
can't
mean,
remember what it's called though.
if he could do another good, the bad, and ugly, but he can't. Can't.
Well, the new movie looks all right. I have it in mind. Like, I go check his Twitter and stuff. Like, it was just from a couple of weeks ago. It doesn't look bad at all though.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's got a new one coming out where it's just like he's the old man who can still do it, and he's riding his horse and doing cowboy stuff, and you know, looks all right.
He was. People don't realize how old like he is though. Like he
He's got to
was.
be like 100, right? Like, he's like 90 years
He's
old.
like 70 or he's got to be like 80 something.
I'm
Because
thinking
like
80 something. Yeah.
Stallone's like 76.
Fucking hell. Yeah, because he's definitely older than Stallone. Yeah, so he's got to be at least 80.
Like he was like 40 something, almost 50 when he was doing like Dirty Harry, I think. Like
Yeah, he wasn't a young guy. That's crazy. Yeah, I think about it, yeah, he's got to be close to death.
oh, we'll have to look it up. You know, he smokes like 3 packs a day too. Like
He
that's
looks like
what
he
makes
smokes
me
it.
feel like he's Wolverine. You know what I mean? Like he is like I mean he aged I mean he looks like leather now. But I mean really when you consider how old he is for 3 packs a day, this dude is aged
Yeah, he
pretty
shouldn't even
fucking
be
good.
alive. He should have died a long time ago.
Pretty fucking good. And like I said, like there's a bunch of movies that were like 80s and 90s movies that he was in that he was an old man then and didn't look like an old man.
Yeah, no, he always had that squinty face with all the wrinkles on it. Like, that's just what he looks like.
Yeah, no, dude. Like you can go all the way back to when he did Heartbreak Ridge, like as a Marine. Going back to the Marine thing, that's the Marine movie. Heartbreak Ridge, dude. That's old man. He was the old Gunny, the old son of a bitch Gunny in that movie. Like, oh man, it breaks my heart, dude, because like I feel like all this focus has literally stopped all the most creative shit. You know what I mean? Like so much random stuff comes from different places. You never know. Like this is like I really hate what's going on because like you know think about like Peter Jackson, right? He did there's great fucking like these big epic movies that everybody knows him for now. That dude
Yeah.
started out doing like really obscure horror movies that were really fucking crazy.
Yeah. Same with same can be said for comedian. There's a couple comedians like Jim Carrey and that wanted to do serious movies, but they were too funny. So all of a sudden now, like if you go back to their first stuff, it's all like thriller and horror stuff like that until they became famous for being comedians. And then Robin Williams is the same. Like they wanted to
Oh
be
man.
proper theatrical actors, but you know they're too
Dude,
funny.
24-hour photo though. Robin Williams and
How
24-hour
terrifying
photo.
is that?
Fucking sick, dude.
He is so scary in that movie.
Damn, he was fucking badass in that movie. Oh, he did that so well. But yeah, no, but like people think about like Mrs. Doubtfire or like
Aladdin,
Father's Day or something.
the
you know?
genie.
Yeah. The genie. Oh man, yeah. Back dude, what is this fucking live act why do they ruin things with live action? If you're gonna do live action, why aren't we doing good live action? Like Disney has lost its magic. Like it used to be a thing like the movie, the summer release, the big animated movie. Well,
Yeah.
now that we're 2021, we have 10 times the studios, way more like ability to do things, and we can actually do like crazy effects with real people, and we're just shitting the bed. Like
There's
it's
nothing they've done. Like none of the new movies they've made even compare, like even nearly compare to the old actual classic Disney cartoons. And that's not just nostalgia. It's like they are genuinely better movies. And you've either copied it frame for frame, like with The Lion King, right?
yeah.
Or actually, with the exception of the Jungle Book, the live action Jungle Book was better than the old one. And like, I'll fight you. Like I don't care.
Yeah,
People,
fuck
people,
sure.
people are constantly saying, "Nah, it's not." And like, have you watched the old Jungle Book lately? It's not even a real story. It's a collection of short stories. At least the new one is a proper narrative, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, they've all just been like frame for frame remakes of the old ones. Well, what's the point? The old one did it better. So why would I? Like, as an artist, I like the cartoons more than seeing the real people do it anyway.
The animation is sick. Like, there's something cool about animation. Like, when you
Yeah,
think about something epic as a movie, like that amount of time, that many frames that have to be drawn is just,
yeah.
it's
A lot
insane.
of them
And
are
then,
drawn at 24 to 30 frames a second too.
oh
So
man,
yeah,
dude, like so
do the
minute.
math.
Like okay, so I don't know if you pay attention to Joe Capitano at all, but
Yeah, I love Joe Catapano.
the
He's one of my favorite indie artists. I love his style. It's like
I
anime, like graffiti almost, comic book style. I love it.
I fucking love him. So one of my old co-hosts that's not on the internet anymore, but one of my old co-hosts on a different channel I used to work with, who's another Australian dude, um, did synthwave music or something. So I saw Joe talking about synthwave, right, on his show and about the project and whatever. And I hooked him up with my dude to get on the project. I had someone else and like help him out with the stuff. And so but Joe is compiling, you know, all these different like artistic like tools and trying to put together, different lessons to help people like advance their work so that like these CG books, and other artists are coming up like are getting better, helping push each other forward. And
Yeah,
and it's a really cool fucking thing that he's doing. Like I mean I think that is like one of the other directions that you can go, like when you're doing like a CG stream, besides showing and doing like other content, like getting into like the nitty gritty and like, but like the amount of work that he shows you just for a light source, like for a shadow, and that's a stationary picture in a comic book, right? But like then you have to think about that on animation. Like animators are insane.
yeah,
Like you're doing the light source is moving, the character is moving, like oh man, dude, and just that minute, like how, like you know what I mean? Like how do you get an arm in 24 frames? Like in your mind, you have to like 24 pictures, and from here to
yeah.
here.
And you got to remember, like they did that back in the day before anyone else did it as well. So they weren't copying. Like we can look at those movies and go, "How did
Oh
they do
yeah, and
that?"
like
And then I can
yeah,
figure out how to do it. They were just making this stuff up off the top of their heads. They had the flip book and they go, "Hey, what if we made like a movie out of this?" Like they are geniuses. Nothing
dude. You
short of
know what?
geniuses.
I wish like would be an add-on to like the CG campaigns. Because a lot of people like fucking cards, and I think the cards are stupid. I think there's just like a micro print. I'm like, I'd rather have a print, but one thing would be flip books, dude. Flip books, it would be fucking sick.
Can you print out little flip books?
Yeah.
That would be sick. I haven't seen like a flip book. Like I make them in school and stuff, but I haven't seen a flip book ever. Like that
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. It'd be like a cool
does sound
little like
cool.
add-on to a campaign. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just a
like I
little bit.
think the extras. There's a lot of potential for like some really cool extras depending on the campaign.
Dude,
Like
I mean,
rather like what you said about the cards is I actually kind of agree. I'd never really thought about it like that. But with the embrace, we did sticky hands, like glow in the dark sticky hands, because
yeah,
he has the ghost hands. It's like we should do more stuff for our campaigns. Like all of us should do more stuff for our campaigns that are more
dude. Well,
personalized
the
to that
more the
campaign.
more that people find those things and think about those things, but it also like some of those things will cross over to other campaigns and like finding the distributor, finding the money, figuring out
Yeah,
all the math behind
exactly.
it, and like having that to pass on to other people to make better, more well-rounded, quickly fulfilled campaigns. 'Cause that's a big issue, man. Like one of the biggest things like that I heard before like I even got to know people or even got to buy too many books was like fulfillment issues, like how quick a book was going to get fulfilled and stuff. And I was like, well, from what I can tell, I'm seeing a bunch of artists that are, like when I jumped into the scene, they're fulfilling on a pretty regular basis. So I don't know. Maybe when this shit started up, that there was a lot more rockier fulfillments. But I think like like anything that there's gonna be bumps in the road, and I think that like a
Yeah.
lot of that's been worked out for the most
There's
part.
a lot of creators as well, like the ones that the anti people would talk about, and they say, "Oh, this guy took forever." It's like, yeah, that was his first time. Look at his second book; he was early.
Yeah,
You know,
right. There's the other.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of things there's a lot of things that they cherry pick what information they use. And it's like, yeah, that's technically true. There was a lot of late books, but if you look at it right now, there's not anymore.
Well, and yeah, I mean, there's. It also depends on like who you are and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
some people,
some people
some
get
people,
away with shit that others can't.
yeah, some people do. They get away with some shit. Some people like can stretch out campaigns. Ethan Van Sciver can fucking run a campaign for fucking ever,
Yeah, well,
ever.
there's a lot to be said as well if you're like streaming every day and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like you can be a bit more late because you're still there every day. You haven't disappeared on people. You know,
that's
like a lot of
true.
people are going to forgive you. Like you could be late and they will forgive you because you're still there. You haven't just disappeared. You haven't just ran off with their money. Like they know what's going on. Even if you are behind 6 months or something, they're not going to care. But it's
My
like when you
biggest thing is, do
disappear for
you
six
come through with
months.
the product, and is it what you said it was?
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna be late, it very least better be what you said it was. It better be like, you know what I mean? When you said it's
Have
gonna
you
be
ever
this
received
quality.
something that wasn't though?
No, you know what? I've heard horror stories, but every campaign I've backed, and it may be again, it may be the time in which I like jumped
Yeah.
on the scene. Every campaign I've backed, I've been happy with. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
same.
mean? Like some of the stories maybe not up to the level or whatever. Like I don't know. Like I give people a little like leeway on some things, but like
But I wouldn't call any of them bad, though. Would
no,
you?
nothing's bad. There's no. I don't have
Yeah.
anything that I'm mad about. I'm not like angry about any of my purchases.
No, exactly. Yeah, like everything
And
I've
some
read,
things
like
I'm actually like pretty like Monster MD, dude. Like I'm like fucking
it's
keep
actually
running
really
that.
good. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
like run that fucking series. Like I can't wait. Like keep doing that
Yeah.
stuff. And God, I hope you run the fucking catch up campaign, like a fucked up campaign, because like I'm mad about like I really am mad about the sketchbook now. Like I
Yeah, I
was
am
so
too a little
upset
bit.
about it.
I'm spewing too. Like,
But
because I'm
oh,
pretty
you know
sure
what I
Monster
did
MD was
get?
one of the first ones I backed.
You know what I did get that's sick is War Party. I like War Party.
Nice, nice.
And I'm waiting for the next box that has like the zero. Like I looked at the pages, but I haven't read the story because I want it all. But I want to read it in order, you know. So
Yeah.
I want issue zero first. Now when it like popped in my book, my email, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting that. Like it's not, you know what I mean?
Nice.
It's just like so minute, like little extra. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant too. Those kinds of things. Like I would like to see, like the little like extras. I think that what I think is kind of obnoxious about the big guys, like and considered like the smaller campaigns, because they like look at Mavericks, right? So, like first of all, Mavericks is a different campaign because Neff is putting an exorbitant amount of money into something that he not necessarily is like trying to profit off of in the same
Yeah.
kind of way.
Yeah. He wants it
So,
to be a massive campaign. Yeah.
yeah, so it's a massive campaign, but like there are campaigns that have like very good like a lot of stretch goals that have a lot of good stuff that is being paid for within the campaign,
Yeah.
right? And then you go to the big guys and like Billy Teach you like $15,000 and you get a sticker.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've always said the same thing, man. Like, I like the embrace. We had nearly it was like every 1,000 or every 1,500, depending on how far through we were. You got
Yeah.
something new. Yeah, but then you have other guys. It's like, oh, 100K and you get a poster. 150K you get a second poster, and it's like, why do I want two posters?
Well, yeah, no, it's like when it's that difficult, when it's that big a span, and then like
Yeah,
that again, Billy
I've
Teach would
seen
be
that.
out of the big pros that I have the biggest complaints about campaigns. I would say right now he's my biggest complaint because he says one thing and his wife runs his campaigns, and so he says one thing on stream and it's completely different what you get emailed.
That's ridiculous.
He'll
Yeah.
say like you're gonna get this sticker. Oh, our next stretch goal is the sticker, right? But then like you get an email, no, it's gonna be this other thing, and you're like, oh, what?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, I wanted the sticker, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm
That,
glad I helped to get to the 15K, so that
but I
that's
mean, if that is the biggest issue, like we're in a pretty good place.
yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, it's not like it's not delivering a bad book or a misprinted book. There's,
Yeah.
I would say my only criticism of book that I've gotten so far, I think that I don't I don't like the way Ace's pages are cut. That's weird. I don't know. It seems kind of choppy, but other than that, like but like the cover's good and stuff. Man, though, I wish that they didn't use the cheaper plastic bags because the little like plastic strip, the little like
Yeah.
sticky strip, fucking I guarantee like almost every time I have one of these open, it's sitting down and then I go to set my book somewhere, right? And it sticks on that fucking strip every time. It gets stuck to the goddamn book, dude.
Yeah,
You
I've
know,
had that happen to a couple books.
and then you're trying not to damage your book, like get the shit. uh, hmm. But yeah, we've had a pretty good time. It's been 2 hours, sir.
Oh shit. Good
It
stuff.
is.
Oh
It
yeah,
is.
you're right. I've got to start streaming in like an hour or two too.
So it's come and gone. I appreciate your time. You stream your channel is at Comics Mate, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
you have your buddy Kimasabi on there. Who, you know what? My biggest disappointment with him was the fact that he doesn't look like I was
He
expecting like a
doesn't look
Paul
anything
Hogan
like
looking
it.
motherfucker. Yeah, dude. I wanted a Paul Hogan looking dude. Like I was
Everybody
so
says that.
upset, dude. I was like,
Everybody
"What
says
is
that, man.
this? What is it?
Yeah,
No, you're supposed to
everybody
be
agrees.
leathered."
He doesn't look anything like that Kemosabe thing, and he looks a lot like he's a baby faced man, and he has like a long beard, and it's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
And everyone agrees. But I was shocked the first time I saw it too. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I can't stop looking at him. Like, this does not look like what I thought he was going to look like.
Like, how dare you? Yeah, I felt deceived. That's fixed.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you can check out Dean, and you can check out Kemosabe, and you can check out Kemosabe's project.
Oh, yeah. Go check out Company Man as well, because that's still
Company Man.
live. The Embrace that we were talking about earlier is closed, but Company Man is still live.
Is live and running, and then you'll have your own project coming in the future.
Yeah, that's the very next thing. As soon as he's done fulfilling Company Men, which, pretty much finished and off to the printers soon, so go back that way you still can, then me and Kemosabe are working on something together as well. Like, I've actually got a lot of projects in the works that just haven't been announced yet, Like, there's nothing official that I can say, hey, go sign up or go buy this or whatever. It's just in the next couple of months, like, watch this area.
All right. Well, you can catch Dean on Twitter at Dean James Comics, and you can check out his work. If you missed it, I don't know. Maybe something will pop up on eBay, probably for like 10 times the price because the Embrace actually looks like a really sick book. So you missed it, but thank you very much for coming on, and we're gonna leave out with the song.
That was my pleasure, man. Had a mad time.
Pick up the pen again. They can hop on this dick and pick up these nuts. Only just beginning. Bunch of some linens. I'm drinking and I'm sitting. I'm thinking of what's getting. Give me just 1 minute away cause I'm not finished. Thinking to myself, fuck a willy, I pop bitches. Never another drink cause I'm living life on the brink. And you wanna see me sing, get stuck in the mud and beat. Standing to my feet and I'm lacing up on my cleats. You're an angel, I'm a demon, I'm kicking your fucking teeth. Kicking and I'm sitting, I'm serving up your repentance. Leave you bleeding and you're licking. I pay up your fucking penance. You pretending and I pin it, I own it. And you're a tenant and you're going Mortal Kombat to beat it until it's finished. Keep picking up the pen and get really used to riddle it next to but you fidget just stuck in the muck of rigid. And homie, this is your Chris and they got you as a belligerent. We really know the truth and you're looking to suck a middleman. Dark in my eyes, dark in the night. Dark and pull up the car, start up if I hit bars. And I might throw darts with the die kind watching and I'm watching getting started tonight. Dark in my eyes, dark in the night. Dark and pull up the car, start up if I hit bars. And I might throw darts with the die kind watching and I'm watching getting started tonight.
Working with the squad, I will scar you for life. Pussy acting like a hothead. Put him on ice at the ICU. You being nice to you. People blowing up my phone like, bro, what you do? Oh, I thought you knew. Homie, I don't play. He was popping that shit and I was on my way. It's been a long, hard day and I need a release. Get a baddie with a booty and I see it on my jeans or over her jeans. Real niggas know what I mean. You don't gotta dissect it. I'm the crop of the cream. And you better respect the click. Nick Dophiliac, Outcast Owls in this bitch. These boys can't spit. You a coward, this bitch. Beat them down and we stomp them for hours and shit. Fuck a rap scene. We about to devour the shit. Coming for the money and the power and shit.
Dark in my eyes, dark in the night. Dark and pull up the car, start up if I hit bars. And I might throw darts with the die kind watching and I'm watching getting started tonight. Dark in my eyes, dark in the night. Dark and pull up the car, start up if I hit bars. And I might throw darts with the die kind watching and I'm watching getting started tonight. Dark in my eyes, dark in the night. Dark and pull up the car, start up if I hit bars and I might throw cards with the die. God watch it, then I'm also getting started at night. Dark in my eyes, darker than night. Dark and pull up the car, start up a fight. Hit bars and I might throw cards with the die. God watch it, then I'm also getting started at night.
Hey Zay, I think it's time. Time to pick up the